did we go from bathtub to battleground?
Gemini on Android, bro. Anything can happen.
Press to create videos.
Only on Android.
TVS Raider, the wicked ride.
Real MVPs are not born. They practice every day. For OP moves on the field and in life.
Duolingo English Test. Proud supporters of dreamers and doers.
Join Google Play Points, the loyalty program that offers you exciting benefits. Now earn points on every purchase. Play more. Level up to gold and platinum. And unlock exclusive rewards.
R is for RAM on roids. A 12GB ramped up, run on all engines, upgraded in a world resigned to 8 gig. Ridiculously ripped. Raise the stakes with a ruthless dozen. Ready to raid. Write faster, roll smoother. Reach higher with a refuse-to-die battery. Every app, every activity. Rep, 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 rep. If it's in your radius, R keeps it on rotation. OnePlus 13R. R is ours.
Red Bull gives you wings.
Bro, we're about to drop.
Just a second. I need to finish this video.
Ask Gemini on Android, it will give highlights.
Press for key highlights.
Only on Android.
BGMI का यूनिवर्सल MVP वापस आएगा एक ब्लॉकबस्टर कमबैक के साथ। कुछ प्लेयर्स का जमाना होता है और कुछ के बनते हैं साम्राज्य। BGMS के मंच पे ओरंगुटान की पिक्चर अभी बाकी है मेरे दोस्त। Esports Ka Blockbuster.
An impactful performance is what everyone's searching for, and today that search will end. Welcome to BGMS Season 4, and you guys are currently inside of the Day 5 of the league stage, Day 5. I'm going to be your host, Caster Necrojon, alongside with me on the panel, it's Scared Yet. And yeah, with now the Impact player also being inside of the action, we know it's just going to be extremely chaotic.
Man, oh man, it's going to be super fun, right? Even yesterday we saw with just that bounties being implemented properly, every single team was trying to target one or the other bounty teams. We saw them go and claim for them as well. There were certain attempts which did not prove to be that fruitful, but here's the thing. At least we're seeing a lot more fights now in the power play.
And speaking of bounty, just one team was able to take the maximum advantage of that, which was Mad Kings. 26 points off the rip. Now that is absolutely unbelievable. Taking down a team who had the bounty and also getting a few extra bit of elimination points on top of that. Mad Kings was dominating the lobby in that one particular map.
I was really imagining or even thinking, imagine what if they had the two bounties that they tried to get that, right? Revenant X-Park and God. Like, it was absolutely fun, but man, today is going to be even better. But here's the thing. I still want to, relive the moments of what happened previously.
Exactly. Since we've been speaking about what exactly happened yesterday, let's have a look at the recap of the Day 4 so far. And specifically inside of the Day 4, one thing is for sure. We knew that today is going to be a chaotic day, and that's what exactly happened. We saw the new rules being applied, new power-ups being applied, and everyone was extremely aggressive towards the teams in the top 4. We did see those drop clashes as well, but then in the final few moments, Marcos Gaming did the unthinkable. We thought they cannot really take that chicken dinner, but still somehow broke through the shackles and ended up squeezing that chicken dinner to themselves.
Superman legit stood up to his name because he was the main playmaker during entire game. But again, Los Hermanos was also a team that in map number 2 started to hunt for those bounties, specifically on God's Reign, and they managed to get 3 players too. But Destra eventually ran away. But that was not the only single play that we saw. It was also Soul and it was also FS Esports.
Soul having a humongous day yesterday proved why exactly they're one of the top tier teams out there in the Indian circuit. Getting a chicken dinner on the map of Miramar, but their domination did not end there. They also moved on and conquered the lands of Sanhok. We did see Mad Kings claim the bounty as well on top of the players of Hero Extreme Godlike, and they had an evil smirk doing so. Extremely happy with the performance on that map.
I mean, they wanted to take the revenge, right? And they didn't want it to get cold. They wanted to serve it absolutely hot. And they were ready for that. But since we always talk about those games, Sanhok was the land this time conquered by Soul. And that was a back-to-back performance from their side.
A methodical approach, clean, calm, cool, collected. No matter what you say, is less for that performance from the side of Soul. And that's one of the main reasons why they're now dominating and looking extremely good in the overall standings. And as we moved on towards the final game, Mad Kings, their domination did not end there. That momentum that they got from the map of Sanhok carried on forward towards the final map, and Mad Kings was taking mad fights.
They were absolutely destroying every single one of them, and they made sure to not throw it up, but rather clutch it up. Clutch got standing up onto his name, Ninja as well, standing up with all of these legends. Man, it was a fantastic performance, specifically for the second half for Mad Kings.
And looking at those camps as well, it did feel like they were having the time of their life inside of the BGMS Season 4, and that's what it's all about. Those power-ups, they're there to make life a little bit tough, but at the same time, give them those joy moments. Give them those entertaining moments. That's going to help them propel themselves at the top of the leaderboard at the same time, and also make them have a lot of fun. And since we've been speaking so much about the power-ups, since we've been speaking so much about the format, currently it is the league stage that's active, which started all the way from the 18th of August, which will be lasting till the 7th September. 24 invited teams will be playing 4 matches every single day, and of course after those 4 matches, the top 4 teams in the overall standings directly move on towards the grand finals. Teams placing from 5th to 12th move on towards the semifinals, and the remaining teams will move on to playoffs.
Absolutely. Those playoffs, the league stage, that's going to be the big play, right? You've only got one day, and you will be facing with the teams who are coming in from BGCS as well. But we know one rule that implemented yesterday, and it absolutely changed the entire dynamic of the early game.
Exactly, the bounty on the top 4. And that's why we saw so much early aggression, and that's one of the main reasons why Mad Kings were able to get their momentum. The moment you eliminate a team with the bounty on top of their head, you will get 10 additional points. And that's absolutely mind-blowing. It can change your situation in the overall standings. But today, another power-up will be added, and that is the Impact Player power-up. Team will be choosing one player to be the impact player, and whichever finishes or whatever finishes the impact player gets will be counted as double the points.
That's the best part about it. Imagine if the impact player actually gets 4 finishes on all the bounty players of that team, right? The total amount of points that you get is ludicrous. Like with just one fight eliminating 4 players, if all 4 of them are eliminated by your team's impact player, you get 26 points in total.
It has to be in the power play as well.
Yes, exactly. In the power play, all 4 players of the bounty team taken down by just one impact player. I still remember that happening all the way in BGMS Season 2 as well. So I'm really excited, or rather in BGMS Season 3, I'm excited to see all of that happen even now.
But realistically speaking, the odds of that happening are extremely rare, and the fact that one man is able to get 4 pieces on a team that is currently sitting in the top 4, it's extremely tough, and that sounds impossible as well, because of course the teams in the top 4, they're going to be having the wind of their sails, and they're supposed to be the top-notch teams out there. And so, since we've been speaking about the impact players as well, and as I explained to you guys, teams picked one player from their squad to be the impact player, and these are the impact players on your screen right now.
Oh, I love the fact that Seoul picked up legit out there for their impact player, considering the performance that's been going on for all of them. Godlike going on with Jonathan, I think so that's kind of fair. But I wanted to see Admino there as well. But it's absolutely fine, right? But one of the most interesting things that actually got your ooh out, I know you want to talk about 8-bit.
Of course, Samraj, the IGL's now going to be the impact player. I'm not exactly sure if it's there to just pull off some weird shenanigans, if it's there to just pull off some fun and banter. If that's what I think it is, then I'm fine. I hope 8-bit does really good to themselves and actually have a lot of fun. But if 8-bit is doing this something completely serious, then I'm not exactly sure what they were thinking.
That's the best thing about it, right? I mean, to be honest, let's go have fun for at least the first week. Maybe they can try and change things up in the next 2 weeks that are upcoming as well. But since we're having a look at the overall standings right now, top 4 bounty teams, Soul, Godlike, Orangutan, God's Reign. Now, God's Reign and Marco's Gaming, there is the thing, there's going to be a bit of a change out there. They'll be playing in the last 2 games, so we know that those 2 bounty teams, or rather, God's Reign will not be in the bounty anymore. The other teams that are below them will eventually move up. But the most important focus point is going to be this part. Phoenix Esports, they're all the way towards the down. I think so this is going to be their best opportunity to try and move back in the rankings.
Of course, a few concerning names on the last page as usual, and those names are not supposed to be there on the last page, considering the amount of potential they have. But at the end of the day, if someone's going to be at the top, someone has to be at the last as well. But for now, we've got a nice little interview lined up for you guys with Clutch God and Jonathan, so let's have a look at that.
एक टीम जिसके 110 पॉइंट्स हैं, 2 मैचेस कम खेले हैं, दे कुड गो राइट टू द टॉप ऑफ द लीडर बोर्ड. गॉडलाइक और मेरे साथ है जॉनथन. नाउ गॉडलाइक का सीजन 1 में दबदबा रहा था, लेकिन दूसरे और तीसरे सीजन में कहीं ना कहीं भटक गए थे. डू यू फील दैट इस सीजन द मोजो इज बैक? क्योंकि फैंस का कहना है कि गॉडलाइक पुरानी वाली गॉडलाइक कब बनेगी?
टू बी ऑनेस्ट, मैं तो ऐसे ही सोचता हूँ कि फेलियर इज़ 100% नेसेसरी टू अचीव ग्रेटनेस. क्योंकि बहुत सारे अप्स एंड डाउन्स हो गए, बट एक चीज़ कॉन्स्टेंट रहना चाहिए कि यू हैव टू कीप गोइंग. चाहे मैं गेमिंग के बारे में, ओवरऑल लाइफ के बारे में बता रहा हूँ. सो वही मैं दिमाग में वही रखता हूँ कि चाहे जो भी प्रॉब्लम्स आ जाए, जो भी हो जाए, बट यू हैव टू कीप गोइंग. चाहे तुम्हारा परफॉर्मेंस लो हो, अप हो, या फिर जस्ट कीप गोइंग. एक टाइम ना टाइम आएगा फॉर श्योर कि जब ये चीज़ विल बी इन द पॉकेट.
वो फेलियर वाला कोड ना दीवार पे छिदवाने वाले हैं. चल मैं एक और कोड देता हूँ. फैंस का ये भी कहना है दैट जॉनथन का नॉर्मल जो है वो बहुत सारे प्लेयर्स के करियर का पीक होता है. बट डज जॉनथन फील दैट ही हैज रीच्ड दैट लेवल येट?
टू बी ऑनेस्ट, नो. क्योंकि मेरा भी थोड़ा लाइक अभी हम थोड़ा सा वैसा वो जॉनी नहीं दिखने मिला लोगों को. बट आई फील लाइक अंदर से वो बचा है लोगों को दिखाने के लिए. आई डोंट नो वो कब खुलेगा, बट जब खुलेगा तो फिर पता चल जाएगा.
वो कहते हैं ना कि चेंज इज द ओनली कांस्टेंट इन लाइफ. तुमने कुछ ज्यादा ही चेंज कर लिया भाई. पिछले 2-3 साल में तुमने सब कुछ बदल दिया है. प्लेयर्स इधर के उधर हो गए. लास्ट ईयर आईजीएल जेली था, फिर उसको लेके आए, सब्स्टिट्यूट करवा के पंक आया, ही बिकेम द आईजीएल. मैचेस जीते बट ट्रॉफी नहीं जीते. डू यू फील दैट नाउ यू गॉट अ सॉलिड लाइनअप, वो बैलेंस आ चुका है?
या क्योंकि हमने अभी जो भी सारे मैचेस खेले यही लाइनअप से खेले, चाहे वो दूसरे टूर्नामेंट्स हो, जो भी हो. वी हैव स्टक टू वन लाइनअप ओनली. एंड आई गेस सो दिस लाइनअप इज डूइंग गुड अभी के हिसाब से. बीच में थोड़ा भटक गए थे, बट लेट्स सी, होपफुली दिस इज द टूर्नामेंट. सो आई जस्ट डोंट वांट टू जिंक्स इट. एंड या सिम्प, यार मेनी पीपल वर टॉकिंग अबाउट सिम्प. सो आई वुड से यार सिम्प एक ऐसा प्लेयर है जो टीम को एक शेप में ला कर देता है. पीपल सी हिम थ्रू किल्स ये वो, बट हिज रोल इज लाइक अ सपोर्ट. सो आई वुड से कि सिम्प इज लाइक द की टू दिस टीम.
विकेट एडमिनो है, इम्पैक्ट तुम हो, ऐसा क्यों?
वो तो नहीं पता, वो तो टीम को ही पता है. बट या आज बीइंग द इम्पैक्ट प्लेयर, सो आई जस्ट वांट टू पिक दोस फ्रैग्स एंड हेल्प द टीम एज मच आई कैन. सो वही मेरा टारगेट होगा कि आज ज़्यादा से ज़्यादा फिनिशेस उठाना है एंड टीम को अपना हेल्प करना.
Well, Godlike, go to number 1. सारे मैचेस आज के खेले जाएंगे on the 1+13. Match 1 is coming up in just a few moments from now. We take a short break and return.
How did we go from bathtub to battleground?
Gemini on Android, bro. Anything can happen.
Press to create videos.
Only on Android.
TVS Raider, the wicked ride.
Real MVPs are not born, they practice every day. For OP moves on the field and in life.
Duolingo English Test, proud supporters of dreamers and doers.
Red Bull gives you wings. R is for RAM on roids. A 12GB ramped up, run on all engines, upgraded in a world resigned to 8 gig. Ridiculously ripped. Raise the stakes with a ruthless dozen. Ready to raid. Write faster, roll smoother. Reach higher with a refuse to die battery. Every app, every activity. Rep, 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 rep. If it's in your radius, R keeps it on rotation. OnePlus 13R. R is ours.
हम बिगिनिंग हमेशा नहीं था स्टार यूसी लेने से पहले सोचता था 100 बार डर था बड़ा स्कैम्स का डाउट थे हजार तो प्ले ओपी आया तो लगाई नया पर तो मैंने लिया यूसी सेव गेम किया रेस प्ले मेरे साथ यहाँ ड्रॉप से कम हार्ड प्ले तेरे साथ ओपी तू भी कर ले स्टार्ट
Welcome back after that short break to the BGMS Season 4, and you guys are currently watching the English broadcast. We're inside of the Day 5, and just in a few moments, the Game 1's about to begin. Scared, as usual, I want to ask you for your prediction. You know that's what we do. It's our ritual now. Before the Game 1 starts, let me know which team you think will dominate this game.
Oh my god, you know what? I would have taken the name of God's Reign or OG, but none of them are actually playing the first two games, right? As we have a look at the schedule as well. AC, then AB and AB. So Group B teams are going to be playing in the latter half right now. So I think I'm going to pull my focus a bit more back. Los Hermanos have actually been impressing me a lot these days, right? Because with their constant drop clashes as well, constantly trying to target the teams, taking on the fights. I'm pretty sure I think so they might pull a big game. So I'm going to rest my hopes onto them.
Honestly speaking, it's quite a solid pick. Los Hermanos, yesterday as well, we were having a lot of conversation about them.
Yeah.
And the way they were taking those fights, it feels like there's just a bit more confidence. And especially the way they were winning the fights as well. It's not just about taking the fights and getting eliminated yourself. No, Los Hermanos is able to best some of the best teams out there.
Yes.
And that is something that's really making this team stand out. Now, to be honest, yes, they do have a few experienced names, but at the same time, they also do have a few known names as well. And especially that being added up, Los Hermanos doing extremely good to themselves. I really feel like this is one of those teams that will pack a lot of punch in the future stages as well.
Kalan is the main man for them to be the impact player for today, so I'm pretty sure they're going to be trying to enable him as much as possible. But it's just the way how they pick up those fights, right? That's where they are the strongest. But that's not the only team that have actually got a possibility of making it to the top, right? Reckoning, we have seen them pick up that chicken dinner. We have seen them convert even the situations which are not in their favor back into a big game. So I'm pretty sure that they might pull it off, but if you really want a solid pick, Necro, I think so. I'm pretty sure you're going to pick Mad Kings considering what they did yesterday.
Yeah, they do have the momentum rolling for themselves, but I'm not going to go with no names anymore. I'm going to go with someone extremely new, and that is Likitha Esports. I believe in the crowd power. I believe in the new names, and I think the Gen Zs, they've got this time. As the plane's going to be hitting the skies once again, starting all the way from Lipovka towards the opposite side. Zarki, this plane flight path extremely tilted on the top right side of the map if the teams do want to move in towards the extremities like Primorsk, Ferropier, military base. Now that's going to be a bit of a tough stretch.
Even towards the quarry as well, so as you mentioned, it's going to be a bit more difficult out there. You mentioned something about the Gen Zs now taking the stage. I just wanted to add on a point onto that. I mean, they've basically made sure that Skibidi becomes an official word now. It's added in the Cabrera's dictionary.
It's not just Skibidi, actually. There's one more word that's added.
The Skibidi, Delulu.
Yeah,
there's
Delulu,
a couple of more words which I'm not quite sure if I should take up on the stream or not, but
I mean, hey, it's evolving. That's all you can say. Evolution's important.
it's evolving, but it's going a bit more backwards in terms of vocabulary. But for now, we're gonna focus on the things that are moving forward. Reckoning Esports having their fun time. They're gonna drop all the way down towards the Milta Power. Not gonna face any problem. But hold on, like I've got my G Los Hermanos with them dropping all the way towards the north.
Los Hermanos, do they really want to go for a claim on the bounty? And if that's what's going on, I would love to see Los Hermanos destroy one of those teams and claim the bounty themselves, because Los Hermanos is one of those teams that is having a lot of elimination points, but still, if you talk about the stance in the overall standings, it can be better.
Survival, yes, they're kind of facing a bit more problem out there, right? Because there's so many problems coming in. Yeah, I'm pretty sure your reaction is the same as the members of God's Reign, as they would have been super happy after seeing this entire circle all the way down south now. All the teams who would make some early rotations will have so many possibilities of taking down the teams that will be crossing it from either of the bridges.
Los Hermanos, there's Hero Extreme Godlike right underneath them. And at this point, Los Hermanos, it feels like they just want to move up north towards Kamishki, get their loot up, and then probably look to take a rotation down south. Phoenix Esports, even towards Lipovka. There's a major chance Hero Extreme Godlike can face a lot of troubles, but it really depends if Hero Extreme Godlike's going to be taking a pit stop inside of Lipovka. I highly doubt that's the game plan.
What are the chances that they directly end up towards the military base, considering no one else would have gone there?
That's actually a smarter plan if you think about it. Prioritize the zone off the rip, and that might just help you quite a bit. Genesis Esports was also in the close by, but luckily enough, they did not really lock horns. Genesis Esports did not have the cavalry. That one man, he knew if he goes for the shots, it will be a risk that he will not be able to deal with that well.
Oh,
so the man just ran away from that spot.
Reckoning I've got the same idea as Godlike. If they're going to be a bit more slow, that's going to be so problematic. And Godlike are also being closely chased by Genesis Esports as well. And we know Genesis like to go in for these kinds of chases. Even FS, they're trying to do the exact same thing.
The most messed up part about this lobby is that there's just one team with the bounty on top of their head, and that's Hero Extreme Godlike. And everyone's going to want a piece of that. And that's what's exactly happening. Godlike's Jonathan gets knocked out. That's the impact player, down and dusted. That means Hero Extreme Godlike won't be able to take the advantage of the impact power-up that's been added, which is, of course, a massive blow. And as I mentioned, it's kind of unfair to Hero Extreme Godlike that is the only team in the top 4, unless Mad Kings make a massive leap towards the top 4 in the upcoming game. Then that's a whole different story.
They can.
At least as of now, Hero Extreme Godlike, they're getting pounced up by the players of Genesis Esports. Genesis on the prowl. Punk, the man's trying to keep his position anonymous, but not for too long. Soon enough, the silence will be broken, and Punk needs to try and give some sort of backup to his teammates. He's got the Uzi in the hand, does not really have that good of a weaponry to try and defend himself. There's also Simp on the opposite side, and now Punk getting rushed on. There's not a lot of possible things Punk can do in this given circumstance, and in the end, Punk does get shut down as well. A pump shot into the face. Punk will be knocked out. Final 2 men standing for Hero Extreme Godlike. Admino, he does have the off angle in the outskirts. Maybe if he wants, he can back away and deny the bounty points. But Simp is now getting charged up by the entirety of Genesis Esports, and the man's not going to stand a single chance as he gets punched to death. Genesis Esports, they won these 10 points.
Admino, the only man remaining now, but he is out of sides. All he needs to do is just run away. All he needs to do is survive.
Oh my god, that's what he's doing.
He's going to run away now. Do not give those bounty points to the other team. He's only one man standing. No helmets. No vest whatsoever. Just only a pump shotgun in his hand. No utility as well. So he's going to try and dodge all of that, but he's going to jump into the arms of Reckoning Esports. The Godlike, their run is about to be destroyed in an instant right away.
How unfortunate you have to be. Hero Extreme Godlike, the only team with the bounty on top of their head, now getting hunted down by the entirety of the lobby. First, Genesis Esports took down 3 players. Reckoning Esports now want to shut down the final man. But Reckoning Esports, if they do take down the last man of Godlike, they won't get the bounty. In order to claim the bounty, you need to eliminate the entirety of that team.
Yeah, and here's the thing. Just because Reckoning were firing a few shots here and there, now I think so Genesis will have an idea about what's happening, because they are going on a chase, and we have seen them, how solid that chase has been as Flog. He tries to survive out there, up and over. You've still got to take care of one man, but Flog will fall. And in an instant, Genesis will know that it is Reckoning. It is not the team that they were hunting.
I love this, Reckoning Esports. Reckoning Esports now, they're not going to back away from the fight. Instead, they're actually challenging the fight against Genesis, and they're going to find the success as well. Second man knocked out from Reckoning Esports. What was that play from Dionysus? You talk about heroic plays, and that was one of the best plays I've seen so far. Oh man, Dionysus. The opponent never saw this coming. Just doing something completely outside of the box. Reckoning Esports shutting down Genesis and their hopes of taking this game home. There's still 2 more men standing for Genesis Esports, but I highly doubt just a 2-man squad might be able to get anything done from which one of the men's actually knocked out as well. Reckoning Esports were about to get third-partied by FS, so that's why Reckoning just run away from this spot, but Hunter's knocked out. That's a free elimination point to be claimed by FS Esports if they do find the knocked player.
If they do find the knocked player, that's the big thing. But I believe FS are also deciding to return back as well. Now that's going to give some time maybe to Zap to try and save his teammate. But it's just FS trying to run around, hunt around. And if Zap stands up and moves, the footsteps will be shown on the minimap.
Oh no. Position's compromised,
Spotted.
maybe.
Spotted.
Yeah, there's no way the man's not spotted. There's a guy right in front of him. He was stuck. Finally gets out, and yeah, position's compromised. Zap. He won't stand a chance. Genesis Esports down and out. Only able to get 8 points out of this game. And if you think about it, 8 points is not a bad average. So Genesis Esports, they're still doing pretty good for themselves.
A big question is, how did Godlike manage to get 4 points out of that? At Minnow, before falling, he was also able to take a couple of scraps here and there. And I think so that is pretty big if you consider the scenario Godlike started with. I mean, alright, you're going to take any point that you will receive right now. Also denying the bounty to Genesis, making sure that they can't take a big leap out there. That's a big play, but right now, another big play being made by the boys of Scout versus the boys of Manya.
Oh no, Metal Esports falling apart, and Global Esports ripping through Metal. Metal Esports is supposed to be one of the most aggressive teams in the lobby, but just aggression does not mean you can win the fights. Metal Esports getting a reality check. Last 2 men from Metal, no other option than to play it safe and back away from the spot, and that's what they're exactly doing. And that's what probably is going to be the best possible thing Metal Esports can pull off in this given circumstance. Next zone is probably going to be shifting all the way down south, but no, instead, it takes a curveballing shift.
Huh?
Everyone's messed up, big time scared. But this is also going to give a second chance to life to teams like Mad Kings and even K9 Esports, because they're still all the way back in the blue.
And they are still fighting against each other, and that's the big thing. Only clutch card remaining for Mad Kings. And there's also True Rippers right around that corner. There's so many fights that happen there. First of all,
game changer.
Exactly. This circle is indeed a game changer. And also the thing that eventually changed while we were focusing on the action down south was 8-bit deleted by Likitha Esports. That's a big thing. Again, 8-bit struggling out there, and you picked up Likitha as well. So, guess what?
I'm telling you.
Yeah, it could be happening out here, but also, my prediction, my G lost Hermanos. They were able to wipe away Phoenix as well, so they also got some good points for the power play, and I hope they can get this chicken, hopefully.
I hope Likitha Esports got those points in the power play.
Yeah, they got in the power play, yes,
okay.
both of them.
Then if that's the case, that's a lot of points.
Absolutely.
And also that's a lot of damage, because you're taking out one of the biggest teams out there.
True.
8-bit not in the game anymore, which also opens up a lot of opportunities for teams like Victorious Sumus and even K9 Esports, including True Rippers. But once again, guys, watch BGMS 2025 with the multicam feature for the first time only on Geo Hotstar. That sounds incredible, right?
All the 4 bounty teams who are there, you can watch their respective cams. And if you want to focus on Godlike, you can just watch Godlike. Unfortunately, they're not in the game anymore. But yes, for all the other teams that will be in the game after the next few matches, you can watch all of their cameras respectively. I'm pretty sure.
So what are you technically watching if a team's eliminated? The lobby?
You switch back to the normal, I
guess.
Unless you would want to watch their player cams. And see their reaction of what they're talking about. If you're a lip reader, you can probably figure out what they're saying to each other.
Yeah.
Not quite
or
sure.
Maybe you can watch them drink up that Bisleri and hydrate themselves. And I would recommend you guys to hydrate yourself as well. It's going to be a long broadcast, no?
All of the people out there do not have the habit of drinking water, yeah, that's something you would do. But
who does not have a habit of drinking water? Come on, it's life.
You live with the person who does not have the habit of drinking proper water. But I'm not going to say the name.
Who?
Not going to say the name.
Are you talking about Shadow?
Who knows? I'm not saying anything.
Oh man, I feel kind of sad for Shadow getting targeted like that on the desk. Even though she's not even over here.
There's a lot of people who have a habit of not drinking enough water, my man. Trust me.
Sad life, and that's why we've got Bisleri as the sponsor, just to let you guys know. Drink it up. For TR, we did see a bit of that burst of good performance in between.
Yeah.
But after that, we haven't seen the continuation from them. They were able to squeeze in one of the chicken dinners, but once again, now we're seeing them completely at the bottom in the overall standings on the last page. It's not something you expect for a lineup like 4TR to be.
What is this circle, man? What? Legit, what is this circle? Constantly taking those hardships. That's the third hardship we've seen from it.
45% of the circle's unplayable. And just the remaining one is something that you need to find a good ground on. And also the eliminations that you need. Look at that. Victor Sumus in a bit of a trouble. Look at the Esports spotted in the front. Shots were taken. But those connections still missing. Nothing critical happening just yet, but look at the Esports. They do seem like they're in a massive world of trouble. They need to find a second route to try and make it inside of the zone, but at this point, look at the Esports and looking at their misery, it seems like it will be impossible for them to pull out a survival gameplay with just a two-man squad and that separation that they have.
Yeah.
It's impossible.
Not happening right now. Starboy is going to be stuck out there. Maybe he can try and find some scrap points here and there. They're going to be facing some trouble out there. Aryan in front of them.
FS Esports. What was that move? Just one man moving closer to Team Aryan's compound and getting absolutely blown to smithereen.
Yeah. It's Roman.
Massive mistake. Gifting that 1 point away to Team Aryan. And Team Aryan's another one of those teams that we haven't really seen take the advantage of the power play that much.
Yeah.
And honestly speaking, they need to start doing it because Team Aryan's performance hasn't been that great so far.
One of the big problems coming in from their side that they still try to play it slow. They're still playing it way too competitive. Here's this fun thing, right? You know, I noticed something that FS does not really have Roman as their main player out here, but definitely Global Esports are ready with their squad to take down 4TR. You mentioned about them. They're just being destroyed utterly every single second as Pain falls down onto his feet. And it's Global Esports to take them down, but it is not over yet. A third party from YG Los Hermanos is the last thing they need.
Los Hermanos, they've been feeling themselves in the firefights recently, and once again, they start to shred through the players of Global Esports. This third party is extremely deadly, but you've got another team in the mix now. That's K9 Esports, who rammed their vehicles on that compound. Global Esports in a big world of trouble. They're stuck in the death sandwich. Adi in that shack, trying to keep his position unknown, but his position is now known. Utilities tossed in those shack, and still somehow Adi's alive. Mind you, Los Hermanos, they're also taking shots against K9 Esports, but Beast from the sidelines shuts down another man of Mighty Los Hermanos, and now the remaining players, they retreat.
Only one player out there who was also out will eventually back off now as K9. Global Esports, lock on. It's Global Esports versus the ex-members of Global Esports as Adi falls as well, and it's Omega with the nade.
How did that nade bounce outside?
Don't ask me, dude. Like, I think so it just bounced inside, but it was just on the verge of that radius where Adi would fall down because he was not really having the full HP.
It actually bounced outside. You saw the trajectory.
Math.
So here's one of the possibilities.
Math.
Maybe it actually hit Adi.
It did not hit Adi. It would not have bounced off of Adi and then gone somewhere. It was definitely supposed to bounce in. But it's probably, again, the math, which I'm not really ready to do.
Fine. But hey, something you guys should do is take the Duolingo English test, because it's accepted over 6,000 plus universities worldwide. And let us know how your test went. You guys can tag us on our social medias. Let us know how your test was. And we'll definitely not help you in your tests. I'm just kidding. We'll help you. We'll try to get you there. But facts apart, this is where K9 Esports, they need to have a bit of confidence themselves. Just two men standing. Yeah. And these two players are actually not standing. They're prone. Oh my god, Necro. Everyone's playing this extremely passive now. Just a minute ago, everyone was going all guns blazing. And now look at him.
Because there are no major guns remaining out in this such a wide area as well, considering the amount of compounds you have to play around with. Most of the teams will slow everything down. Now the circle is going to define as to what's going to happen. But look at the esports now, a team which started off divided, now united with both the members remaining up and alive. Starboy with Zozo. Smoker was their impact player, so they're not going to get any double points out of here. That's going to be one thing. But if they can try and barge in from this area and maybe land in the compounds in front of them.
Esports, they somehow managed to reunite.
Yeah, that's what I said, right? They managed to reunite and now they can try and barge in. Or if they really want, they can take a proper northern rotation and barge in from the northern hemisphere, but they don't really have that info. We do.
Yeah.
Reckoning also just left with 2 members out there, so a lot of teams with a couple of players for themselves, including middle.
At least they found a decent bit of compound of themselves. So Likitha Esports can't sustain that ground for a long time.
Adrian?
As long as the zone's on top of them. Team Aryan, a team that's been playing extremely passive, not taking advantage of any sort of power play or any power-ups, which is kind of questionable. If a tournament wants to give you free points, I think you should take them.
Hopefully, they'll try and figure that out for themselves as well. One team that actually is going to be pretty happy about this entire commotion is MyG lost Hermanos and True Rippers, because True Rippers have got all the 4 players alive right now. Only just 1 elimination point. Now that's something they might need to work on a bit. And I like the fact that K9 also have at least 6 eliminations for themselves. A few of them were in the power play too, so they're going to be, again, pretty happy. Circle takes a southern shift FS. They'd be looking forward to take some more real estate, playing in a 2-1 split right now. YG lost Hermanos. If they're aware, they can try and pick on Levi.
True Rippers scouting out the grounds in the front. Middle Esports put the players in that shack. It is such a shady spot to be in.
It's a GG for them right now.
1 nade, and that's a 2-piece right there.
Surrounded by 3 teams as well.
That's a triple.
See,
I'm not sure if you remember, there used to be a meme all the way like 6-7 years back. And it was, I think so, it was a kid's voice saying, "Oh, it's a triple."
I remember that. Well, there goes down your prediction. Likitha Esports eliminated at the 9th place, not even getting a position point out there, but should be happy that at least they've got a few elimination points in their back pocket, but they need to do a lot more now to propel themselves up in the top 8 at least.
Yeah, luckily enough, there's still a lot of days and a lot of games left. So Likitha Esports can actually take their time and understand what exactly they need to do in order to make that climb in the overall standings. As of now, though, Reckoning Esports, they started the day off on quite a massive note. Viper being the impact player, getting those 2 elimination points. And I think those 2 elimination points were also in the power play. So that's 8 points right there, if I'm not wrong.
They're going to be happy about them. 99 finishes. Another milestone reached out there after the previous one. So, guys, if you're hungry, which I particularly am.
Such a cheeky angle from Spy.
He can't really stand long there. All he can do is just gather some information. That's True Rippers right in front of him. So
he wanted to prone and go for a spray, but unfortunately he slipped. And with that, he's also missing a lot of shots. Just 22 bullets in the magazine. Spy, you cannot waste any more bullets.
Yeah.
You need to keep yourself tucked. If you are taking shots, make sure it's a proper knock. Mind you, lost Hermanos in heavy trouble. Even Evil just got 62 bullets in spare.
It's not good at all.
Team Aryan as well. They've been playing it extremely passive, and once again, that passive approach, it seems like it's been working out slowly and steadily. The passive approach is only worth it if you manage to squeeze in a chicken dinner. If you can't, it's all down the drain.
Thunder?
Aryan down. Thunder's taking a lot of damage. Victorious Sumus in a massive world of trouble. Team Aryan, it's the go call for them as they spot out Thunder, and the man gets knocked out as well. And what am I watching? It's Demozen from Esports that finds the knock, but still the confirmation goes in the pocket of Team Aryan, a team that deserves to claim that elimination point. Mafia moves outside of that shack, realizes there's going to be utilities now tossed in that shack. Henry still playing around that hovercraft. It's a solid cover to be behind. Still, Henry's able to find the final man as well, and that's Victorious Sumus. Outside of this game, it's done. Victorious Sumus as well. They've been having a massive struggle so far. We saw Victorious Sumus in the first 3 days, and this was one of the most consistent teams out there. But after that, Victorious Sumus, it's been their downfall. And what just happened here? The hovercraft on the side of Esports, they make a major mistake, and it was the firing squad of Team Aryan. All of them took shots at the same time, and Lovish messed up massively. Well, Lovish thought that he's just going to move there with the hovercraft to get the information, but all the 4 players from Team Aryan took shots, and the hovercraft did not stand a chance.
I mean, why is the big question, considering the fight that went down there. I think so. He also had probably the idea that maybe at least a couple of players from Team Aryan are still knocked down.
The guy thought hovercraft was a tank.
Yeah. Tank busters on the other side, ready and ongoing. But Team Aryan now with FS only down to 1 member remaining, and that to Gods. They're going to be claiming that one compound as well. Good luck for Gods just if he wants to survive, because everything out in front of him is going to be open. Nothing left whatsoever, and he's still down. Still trying to survive out there as everything's noted. He's going to be pounced upon instantly, and he can't go out near any windows. Everyone's going to be bursting him down too. There we go. Aryan systematically checking it. Tries the first shot and misses it out. It still is Henry to clutch it out for Team Aryan.
Team Aryan finally amping up the aggression in the final few moments. Here to clinch their fists and get a chicken dinner. And now they also have a remarkable spot in the final few moments. It's going to be tough to stop Team Aryan and their domination in these final few moments, as even K9 Esports now facing the wrath of Team Aryan. Passive gameplay, it's only rewarding if you get a chicken dinner. And at this point in time, Team Aryan, they've got the highest chance of getting chicken dinner next to True Rippers. Metal Esports in that one single shack, they've been there for such a long time. K9 Esports, they want to apply a bit more of that pressure on players of Metal Esports, and that's what they're exactly doing. Beast, he rams his vehicle on that shack. Metal Esports still keeping themselves put, but that Molotov, it's going to force out both the players from Metal Esports, and even Scout gets eliminated. That's it.
And it's Aryan who actually picked one. Kalan picked the next one. So K9 did not really get anything out of that engagement. If anything, they eventually fell down to the members of Aryan.
Rough luck for K9 Esports. No elimination points in that end moment, and not even gaining that map control after that.
Big.
I understand that fight was just to get the map control, but not at the cost of your own life.
Next circle is going to be big. Whichever direction it falls to, it's going to provide the big advantage to that team.
I think it is going to go on top of the players of Team Aryan.
Oh, no. Hermanos.
Los Hermanos. Seems like it's going to be their day. If they do somehow manage to kick things off with a chicken dinner, that will elevate their confidence to Cloud9. 2 Rippers in the front. There's also Reckoning Esports as Giannis is all the way in the back. And now True Rippers want to make a few moves on the board.
Now here's the big question. If Giannis is able to probably ruin the game of True Rippers by getting one player or the other, and Aryan starts fighting against True Rippers, that's going to give a bit of a leeway to Los Hermanos. Otherwise, it's going to fall down to which team can get that third party in properly. Because Team Aryan, after a little bit of their maneuver, they're going to still stick around towards the edges. And this next circle is highly possible that it still will stay around the members of Los Hermanos.
True Rippers. All the 4 players in the front standing next to each other. MyG lost Hermanos. 6 elimination points already claimed so far. It is a team with Dutch pack a lot of punch. But unfortunately for them, ammunition, it's scarce. Big problem. 40 bullets in the magazine, nothing in spare. Oh my god. No one's got any sort of ammunition, so they need to make every single bullet count. And the problem is they've got only enough ammunition for one battle. They cannot continue and take a fight against Team Aryan after that.
I wouldn't even say that they've got enough for one battle. I'd say just one mag, one round, one chance. At least 100 are enough for one battle, but you don't have anything in the magazine. That's a big problem, but that's not really just Los Hermanos. That's also Team Aryan. But they've got more than what Los Hermanos have.
Yeah, they've got
100.
Insane amount of bullets on them.
True Rippers. Oh my, they're just putting everything, every single egg in this one basket of circle. Yeah, I'm not quite sure how good that is.
True Rippers are going to send it. That's it. True Rippers are done waiting. Los Hermanos taking those shots, and they do find those confirmed. NoNx as well. 2 players down. True Rippers in heavy world of trouble.
What is Kalan doing?
He switches over to the AKM. 31 bullets in the magazine. That's all he's got. Nothing in the spare. He's also taking a lot of damage. But he finally squeezes himself in. Back to cover. Team Aryan. Even they have managed to get 9 elimination points so far. MyG lost Hermanos. I feel so bad for them. They've got no resources, and that's the only reason they might just lose this game.
Yeah. It's an Aryan's win now. It's almost 100% Team Aryan's win.
Yeah, they've got the zone, they've got the ammunition, they've got the resources. Everything stacked with them.
Oh,
and for Los Hermanos now, they also need to deal with the players of True Rippers since they took shots against him. But even Team Aryan, they're doing the exact same thing. Team Aryan knows True Rippers are hurt. And MyG Los Hermanos, unfortunately, does not have enough ammunition and enough resources for this fight. Jelly gets knocked out by the play zone. Both the players of True Rippers, they're just going to give their lives away to the BGMI gods. And now we've got MyG Los Hermanos locking their horns against Team Aryan. Team Aryan with all the 4 players standing. They've got utilities, they've got ammunition, they've got armor, West, everything. While on the opposite side, MyG Los Hermanos, they do not even have enough men for this battle.
Oh my god. Yeah, everything's getting down back to the empty. Kalan, 20 bullets in the M4. Make it even less, 17, my man. Good luck. 31 bullets in the AKM, and that too with a 4X.
No way.
No, I'm pretty sure not. I know you're the impact player, but that's a bit too ambitious.
Imagine being in the situation of MyG Los Hermanos. Evil, unfortunately, does not even have any sort of bullets in the primary. So he needs to play up close and personal with the shotgun. That's the only way they can win. And somehow, if Los Hermanos end up winning this fight, I would be surprised.
Nah, that's
Smokes
not happening.
tossed out. They do not even have proper smokes to actually provide them that cover, but they still somehow cross on over. Scratch-free. Spies behind the buggy, spots out Devotee, takes those shots. And I think Team Aryan knows they need to take a long-range fight against MyG Los Hermanos because of those SMG bullets. Team Aryan now getting pounced on by the players of MyG Los Hermanos, and Los Hermanos do not even have a second option. They need to go for the fight up close and personal. They've tossed out a smoke trail, but that's not going to help them at all, as the utilities from Team Aryan, they will be more than enough to eliminate them from this game. As Team Aryan will be the one to claim the chicken dinner and start things off for the win.
Big one as well, because a few finishes fell in the hands of Devotee, who is their impact player. Fantastic performance coming in from Team Aryan, and it took such a long time for this team to finally get the flow back, but they managed to do it.
Oh man, that was close. But Team Aryan needs to understand one more thing. Yes, they're playing this passive play style. Yes, they're playing for the win. But if they do not get the win in the upcoming games, that's going to be the momentum broken. And the consistency will dip down instantly. Team Aryan needs to get consistent points to keep this run going, to have a good spot in the overall standings.
Big games, extra finishes, and that too early on in the power play itself. That's what they need. Hermanos could not do anything against True Rippers, but yeah, MyG Los Hermanos definitely answered back.
Got a field bad for True Rippers as well. They try to make a mad dash against the players of mind you lost Hermanos. But those bullets were just enough to take care of those two players from True Rippers. Enough talking from us. Now let's move on towards the stage for the interview.
Just waiting for Aryan to come here because AX ने अभी chicken dinner निकाला है. And this was something that was long time coming क्योंकि expectation हमारी बहुत थी. हमारी मैच के पहले ही बात हो रही थी. Congratulations brother. इसके पहले कितने पॉइंट्स थे तुम्हारे ऑन द लीडर?
56 थे पहले तो. 56 पॉइंट्स थे हमारे टोटल ओवरऑल. मतलब 10 मैच 56 थे. मतलब आज कमबैक रहता 4 मैचेस थे. अभी तो अच्छा गया.
जो टीम रियाद गई, जो टीम ऑफिशियल जीती, ऐसा लगा कि 56 पॉइंट्स के साथ वो कहीं खो गई. तुम लोग खुद शॉक थे अपनी परफॉर्मेंस पे? ऐसा लग रहा था कि नहीं अभी थोड़ा सा वक्त आना बाकी हमारा?
हाँ, मैचेस ज़्यादा थे, सब हल्के में खेल रहे थे और फॉर्मेट अलग है BGMS का, तो हम कुछ ट्राई कर रहे थे पर वो वर्क ही नहीं कर रहा था. फिर हमने सोचा आज हम अपना नॉर्मल गेम खेलेंगे. तो अभी मैच तो अच्छा गया पहला. बाकी 3 मैच देखते हैं, ऐसे ही कंसिस्टेंट पॉइंट आएंगे तो टेबल थोड़ा ऊपर आ जाएंगे, टॉप 3 या फिर कुछ भी पॉइंट.
आज के दिन की शुरुआत के पहले हम जब बात कर रहे थे, तुम्हारी टीम से ही बात कर रहे थे एंड डिड आस्क कि BGMS के जो फॉर्मेट में अलग अलग एस्पेक्ट्स जैसे बाउंटी हो गई, इम्पैक्ट प्लेयर हो गया, क्या उसके साथ तुम्हारा वो बैलेंस, वो तालमेल जो है वो बैठ नहीं? क्योंकि ऐसी बहुत टीम्स हैं यहाँ पे जो तुमसे बेटर कर रही है लेकिन उनको तुमने पास्ट में धोया है.
हाँ, मतलब हम थोड़ा सा खोए हुए थे कि कुछ भी वर्क नहीं कर रहा था, कम्युनिकेशन वर्क नहीं कर रहा था. हम कभी कुछ 16 पिक ऑफ हो रहे थे. मतलब अभी तो पहला मैच अच्छा गया, देखते बाकी 3 मैच ऐसे मोमेंटम सेम कैरी कर ले.
5वां दिन है, तुम्हारी गाड़ी जो खेतों में कहीं खो गई थी, क्या वो वापस पटरी पे आ चुकी है?
एक चिकन को देख के हम बोल नहीं सकते कि वापस आ गई है. देखते हैं अभी और 2-3 मैच जो हमारे आज पूरे 4 मैच है तो 3 बचे हैं. देखते 3 में कुछ अच्छा हो जाए.
That's the spirit, buddy. Congratulations. दिन की शुरुआत तो बहुत अच्छी हुई है AX की. First chicken dinner. We take a break and come back.
Bro, we're about to drop.
Just a second. I need to finish this video.
Ask Gemini on Android, it will give highlights.
Press for key highlights.
Only on Android.
TVS Raider, the wicked ride.
Real MVPs are not born. They practice every day. For OP moves on the field and in life.
Duolingo English Test. Proud supporters of dreamers and doers.
Red Bull gives you wings.
Join Google Play Points, the loyalty program that offers you exciting benefits. Now earn points on every purchase. Play more. Level up to gold and platinum. And unlock exclusive rewards.
Team Aryan, after kicking things off on a solid note, now it's still the question mark remains. Can Team Aryan really continue the consistency and continue the domination in the upcoming games? Because so far, Team Aryan, they have been quite inconsistent with their performance, if you'd like to say so.
I mean, that's exactly what they were constantly mentioning as well about the same thing, that, yeah, their performance has been a bit iffy. It's not really been very well perfect, you know. It seems like they're not really being protected. That's what I'd say.
Yeah, and I guess they need to get their hands on the Google Play Protect, and you guys should as well get your hands on the Google Play Protect to keep your apps and data safe. But back towards the conversation that we're having, right? And generally speaking, this is not the Team Aryan that I know, because all the way back in the officials, Team Aryan was one of the aggressive teams out there. They were not shying away from taking those fights. Yeah, in the final few moments, that's what exactly Team Aryan did, but still, we want to see them take those fights in the power play. We want to see them contribute to the chaos that happens off the rip. And maybe that's one of the main reasons why Team Aryan really does not want to be a part of the chaos, because they know they can be randomly eliminated by anyone.
It's highly possible, right? Because I feel like, yeah, they were still trying to adapt to the BGMS format that we normally talk about, how best or how different it is from all the other formats too. So yeah, they were trying a few things, not being able to adjust. It's absolutely fine. At least they're now feeling themselves, right? Specifically, Devotee himself getting those 3 finishes as well, or rather 3 rescues coming in from him. He also had a couple of finishes, and he is the impact player of the team. So, I mean, I'm pretty sure his team would be happy considering that they were able to bring the best out of him.
But let's have a look at the OnePlus Never Settle moments, because the action kicked off in quite the fiery note. We did see Hero Extreme Godlike getting absolutely ripped by the players of Genesis Esports, but luckily enough for Hero Extreme Godlike, the final man was able to run away and escape the grasp of Genesis Esports. Genesis was almost on the verge of claiming that bounty, but later on we did see Global Esports play quite immaculate defense, and honestly speaking, Scared, this is another point that we need to speak of. Global Esports and their defensive approach has always been so great.
I mean, their defense is almost impenetrable, I would have to say, you know, but when it comes down to them trying to go for the offense, when the circle is not in their favor, when they have to move up against it, that's where they face a lot of problems. So I think that's something they need to fix as well a little bit. When they were playing a bit more aggressive, I was really liking him. Currently, the fights are coming to them. That's why they still have those 11 points, 10 finish points for themselves. I think that's absolutely fine. But at certain point, they will have to start picking up the fights.
Team Aryan getting 24 points. Los Hermanos getting 19 points. That's a solid performance as well. Even Reckoning Esports off the rip, they were able to take a lot of eliminations to themselves, and that's one of the main reasons why they've got 16 points. It's because of the power play. And if you move on towards the second page of the match ranking, you will see a few disappointing names. And one of them is also going to be Mad Kings. And now looking at Mad King's performance yesterday and comparing it to this one, it's unacceptable.
I'm pretty sure that they're going to wait for the next map and then they're going to jump in, drop target one of the bounty teams out there. We're already seeing My G Los Hermanos now.
Okay.
Entering the top 4. That's interesting.
Hey, Godlike's not going to be alone now.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, I'm pretty sure there's a lot of people who are going to try and target them as well, side by side. But here's the thing. You still have, I mean, 2 of these teams now playing up, so someone is going to be having a bit of trouble out there, but having a look at what's going to happen on the next page, that's the main thing. 8-bit not really having a great start as well, being taken down by Likitha. Mad Kings too, they had a very solid game yesterday, but only one game is not going to cut it, just as you said.
Aryan's still pretty far back in the overall standings. They're just on the 13th spot as of now with 80 points. And that's one of the main reasons why I'm saying Team Aryan needs a nuclear performance. They need to go and take the advantage of the power-ups that are provided. Go for the elimination points off the rip. Take the advantage of the power play, and maybe you can do a bit better. On the last page, you will still see a few familiar names like Likitha Esports, Metal Esports, TWOB, Infinix Esports. Still there, stuck, performance missing. We hope they make a comeback.
I mean, I'm still trying to figure out as to what really is the main problem with Infinix Esports, right? Because this is not really something we expected. I want to see them bounce back.
Let's not forget, they've got some of the most solid players out there, consistently able to make it to the official LAN finale as well. I'm not sure what's going on wrong with them, but for now, it's time for us to toss to a short break. Do not go anywhere. We'll be right back.
R is for RAM on roids. A 12GB ramped up, run on all engines, upgraded in a world resigned to 8GB. Ridiculously ripped. Raise the stakes with a ruthless dozen. Ready to raid. Write faster, roll smoother. Reach higher with a refuse-to-die battery. Every app, every activity. Rep, 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 rep. If it's in your radius, R keeps it on rotation. OnePlus 13R. R is ours.
How did we go from bathtub to battleground?
Gemini on Android, bro. Anything can happen.
Press to create videos.
Only on Android.
TVS Raider, the wicked ride.
Real MVPs are not born, they practice every day. For OP moves on the field and in life.
Duolingo English Test. Proud supporters of dreamers and doers.
Red Bull gives you wings.
Miramar's on the way, but the performance for a few are still missing. And I'm speaking of teams like Infinix Esports, Mad Kings, and the names just keep on going on, including 4TR as well. Hopefully, though, this Miramar can bring a new time for them and bring a great time for them. And speaking of time itself, now scared, it's been a while since we've seen an aggressive Miramar. What do you think? Are we going to be able to see it or no?
I highly want to see that as well, and I want it to be just as aggressive as that TVS Raider bike, my man. I know you absolutely love it, and I know it's got one of the best-in-class features for itself. So I'm pretty sure we're going to see the best-in-class performance, especially from 8-Bit, considering they love to play on this map of Miramar. And also, it's going to be the last match for the teams in Group Number C. So Godlike, Mad Kings, 8-Bit, Phoenix, Global Esports, they really need to pull their socks up.
That's going to blow for them. But luckily enough for Hero Extreme Godlike, now there's another team with a bounty atop their head. So Godlike is not the only team that's going to be targeted at this point. There's also going to be Mighty Los Hermanos with a major bounty on their back, and everyone's going to try to take a piece of that. But luckily enough for Mighty Los Hermanos, their fight-taking capabilities has been on point, and they have been winning a lot of those firefights as well.
They've been absolutely on top in their performance, just like the OnePlus 13 are out there, man. It's the best-in-class phone out, and they can last absolutely for long gaming sessions. Picture perfect, and you also got a pretty solid super fast charging in that, so you can charge your phone very quickly just to play another game and land into the maps of Miramar, in which we'll be going in pretty soon. So Godlike, Mighty Los Hermanos, two teams have got the bounty on their back. I'm pretty sure I feel that Mighty Los Hermanos will actually actively take the fights.
I would love to see them take the fights as well. Without wasting any more time, let's just move on towards the second game of the day. Miramar's on the way, and even the plane's going to be in the skies once again, starting all the way from Tierra Bronca towards the southern side, which will be Partona. This plane flat path tilted on the right side of the map. If the teams do want to move in towards left, that's going to be a bit of a tough stretch. And of course, one thing is for sure, the teams with the bounty on top of their heads will be targeted. Mighty Los Hermanos, Hero Extreme Godlike, once again with a major bounty on their back, and especially for teams like Genesis Esports, they will try to take the advantage of that, since in the previous game, Genesis Esports tried to target Hero Extreme Godlike.
Now they've got an option. Do they want to target Mighty Los Hermanos, or they still want to go and try chase Godlike? Because they got 3 players out of that. And after all of those commotion that happened, right, they ended up getting overall 12 points in that. And they also did not play for long. That's almost half the points as the winning team that got. So I think so it's absolutely nice if you're eventually getting 12 points from one of your early engagements as well. And all you can do, if things go very well for you, you can try and convert that game as well for your team. So that's going to just add on to extra points in your tally. So I'm pretty sure they're going to try and do that, and you called out for it. We are seeing Genesis jump in together with Godlike. The previous time Godlike faced the problem on the map of Erangel was because of Mighty Los Hermanos. They were trying to target them. Then they had to decide midway to change their direction. That's when Genesis found them. This time, Genesis are actively hunting them.
Godlike's in hot water. Genesis Esports constantly targeting and hunting down the players of Hero Extreme Godlike. But for Godlike as well, luckily enough, all the 4 players, they've dropped right next to each other and looking at the zone as well. Yes, I understand the surprise look. This is one of the most weirdest zones so far. There's a big chance we might just see a Partona circle.
It's already starting with a stage 2 circle with the way how it's formed.
Yeah,
Can't really play 50% in that circle, man. That's a bit of a problem out here, but same problem lies in for the members of Godlike and also for my G-Loss Hermanos, since Likitha Esports are close by to them, and I'm pretty sure you'd not want to ride onto the superbike considering how open grounds in front of you are.
I mean, my G-Loss Hermanos, I think they forgot they're the one to have the bounty on top of their backs, but they're still not scared as they straight up just bounce on top of the players and eliminate them. Inferno down, my G-Loss Hermanos, they're not scared that they've got the bounty on top of their backs. Instead, they're the one to hunt down the opponents. And you love to see it. It's quite unfortunate for a team like Likitha Esports to have such a bad start. Even the game 1 wasn't that great. Yes, they did have those elimination points. They did have a consistent average, but that consistent average is not enough. And Genesis Esports once again shredding the players of Hero Extreme Godlike, and that's the bounty claimed! 18 points in the power play! Genesis Esports, they were searching for this bounty, and they finally get it! This is what you love to see from a banner like Genesis Esports. Aggression to its maximum potential.
Fantastic performance coming in from this team. 3 of them in the hands of Gravity, 1 for Shirad. If only one of them was for Hunters as well, man. That could have been an absolute banger for them, but it's absolutely fine. Still, you can look at the smiles as well. Gravity is absolutely happy for that. They destroy the plans of Godlike.
Godlike's 2 back-to-back bad games for Hero Extreme Godlike. This is the time when they slip outside of the top 4. And since they're also not playing the upcoming 2 games, it just gets even worse.
That's the big problem coming in for their side. And Genesis are going to be super happy about it.
Look at the player cams. They've got a lot of words to say to each other.
They're disappointed. I mean, to be honest, what do you even talk about at this point? Because you guys have decided to drop in at some place where you're getting drop class. Now, all the thing that happened eventually with you is that you did not find the better weaponries.
I guess win the fight. That's probably the best possible thing they can do. And even if you're not able to find better weaponries, once again, I still feel like the city is big enough. You could have actually dropped, get your hands on decent bit of weaponries.
That's the thing.
And go for the fight. I still think they just lost it because Godlike was the one to prioritize the vehicles first.
Exactly. That's what I wanted to say.
That's why they were handicapped.
Yes, because they did not really decide to drop into the city per se. They decided to drop towards the roads near the vehicles. That's the big thing coming in for their side. For now, big thing for 4TR would be to try and survive or maybe take that fight to the members of FS. I was really hoping for Roman to be one of their impact players out there, but it's actually Lavish. It's absolutely fine.
Roman's the IGL, so that makes a lot of sense why he's not the impact player.
It's fair enough. Understanding. He's going to give that role to Lavish, though. But Roman himself has got quite a lot of finish, right? If I'm not wrong, he's pretty far high up in terms of the finish leaderboards as well. Oh, there's a couple of hit
found a connection. What?
Yeah.
Unreal. Still waiting for the players of 4TR to make some sort of mistake. Pain is taking a lot of pain upon himself. But luckily enough, he's not going to be knocked out. Look at Levi's position. This man is like the god.
Oh my god.
He's got the top angle. He's got the high ground to play with. Every single intel's being delivered to his teammates. FS Esports, there's no way they lose this fight. They probably should kick things off with an advantage as well. They should be able to find an easy knock too. No, I don't think he meant to do that. He's going to drop down, take a bit of that fall damage.
Interesting.
It's fine though. Luckily enough, no one's there to punish him. 4TR, they try to make a move outside of that spot. But FS Esports, they're still there. Lavish in the front. Just one man against the 2 players of 4TR. This can actually be a good decision from the side of 4TR official to break through the shackles that were built by the players of FS Esports.
Yeah. Try to target the one that's the weakest out there in the open. Z-God. He's got the shotgun in the hand as well, along with the scarf. Wants to bounce that nade off as well from that pillar. But still, there's absolutely no one up close to him. And now you can't really traverse this open ground distance. There's cover fire. That will come from the backline. Lavish is going to prone down into the smoke. It's absolutely nice coming in. The nade being thrown. Lord, not really good. Still a bit more wide out there, players inside that compound itself. And Levi didn't really stand up to where he was supposed to stand. Eventually gets knocked down, and Lavish now can try and find a return knock, but the odds are dipping further away from FS.
4TR official. Pain is live is down. Z-God's taking a lot of damage. And if God falls down, FS Esports can still somehow pull themselves back inside of this fight. Final 2 players remain, even for the side of 4TR and even for FS Esports. Unfortunately for FS though, GodX, this man is pinned. There's Morty on the opposite side, constantly taking the shots. Z-God's patched himself up. Penny's live is back up on his feet, so the man now needs to patch himself as well. 4TR's got the man advantage inside of the fight, but look at what's going on in the back. There's also Mad Kings approaching this fight. Clutch God and the boys driving close by towards Los Leones. Wanna take the advantage of the power play and also third party this fight.
Perfect third party. It's actually going to be if Mad Kings really decide to fully commit onto it.
They are actually.
Yeah, FS, they're going to be the ones who will face a lot of difficulty first of all. And look at that one member, Clutch God. He's going in for such a massive flank. That's a big brain play, and if I'm not wrong, he's also got a knock-in for himself.
Shadow already gets the confirmation on FS Esports. It's done.
Beautiful.
There's still one more team in the nearby vicinity. It's 4TR. Morty in that house. The remaining 2 players of 4TR, though, they can still have the striking advantage since they're right behind Apollo. And Apollo's got no clue that there's someone behind him. So 4TR can actually have a surprising effect. But Mad Kings, as of now, they've got a clear target, and that's Morty. They know there's a man inside of this house, and Mad Kings, they want to pounce up and get the elimination. Clutch God, he's got his hands on the DBS. There's a man on top of the stairs. Mad King's using the utilities to try and force the man out. But it's not that easy. Morty, in the end, does get shot at and confirmed.
They need to wrap this fight up as quickly as possible because there's also Likitha Esports who are now coming in the vicinity. So this third party is eventually turning into a fourth party. Soon it will turn into a fifth party. Might want to try and survive out there. This is exactly where the player of FS, last remaining standing one, was. Eventually taken down now. Likitha Esports occupy that space. It's probably going to fizzle out for a few seconds now as we have a look at the next circle, which takes a bit more shift towards that land. I mean, in terms of real estate, this is almost the exact amount of area that was playable either ways previously.
Did Likitha find any sort of success?
Nope,
Did
not
they find
yet.
a knock?
Not yet.
Oh, but they spot out Shadow. He's right in front of him. And somewhere downline, it feels like Mad Kings, they know there's someone around them.
Should be.
Likitha Esports. This 3-man squad. They did take some sort of heavy beating upon themselves at the start. And Mad Kings now, they're trapped. Likitha Esports, this field that they've got set up, it's going to be tough for the players of Mad Kings to break through. But look at Smoker, he's running out in the open. I'm not a big fan of this approach, but Likitha Esports, they're crazy. They somehow run out in the open. Now shove themselves against that man of Mad Kings. It's Shadow OG in the front. He's cooking up a nade, wants to toss it to perfection. But if he's not able to find a knock with that nade, Smoker's going to be pushed up close and personal. And that's what's happened. But Smoker, he's whipping every single shot. In the end, connects that crucial one. And he shuts down Shadow.
Big one coming in. Rest of the members of Mad Kings are eventually in the back line. So I believe it's the call from the IGL. He made sure that it's fine, just leave me be. I'm going to be charged upon by multiple teams. You make sure to take some other space on the other side. And they also took some fights with Genesis, right? And they eventually took a player down. The good thing happening for 4TR is the fact that Pain is Live is actually getting some good amount of picks out there. 3 finishes for him. That means his team has already racked up 6 finish points. As he is the impact player for the team. So every single finish he gets means double the points. Combine it with
pretty much
Iron of Gods 1 as well. So 7 points overall. All he needs is just some position.
And yeah, he's got the positioning as well, at least as of now. Targets in the sight, but not executed yet. Pain is live. Still waiting for the players of MyG Los Hermanos to make some sort of mistake. But MyG Los Hermanos, they're not standing still at all. MyG Los Hermanos is the only team, at least currently, having a bounty on top of their head in this game in particular.
Yep.
Genesis Esports, they've moved up in the top 4, by the way. So in the upcoming game, Genesis Esports will also have a bounty on top of their head.
And
but unfortunately enough, Genesis Esports won't be playing the upcoming 2 games.
The group seeds.
Yeah.
Play the sound of happy, happy, happy in the background. So that's what happened. Circle moving a bit towards centric north positioning. Again, Victorism is finding a good position in the circle itself, but when it comes down to the fights, that's going to be the problem right now, which is being faced by Mad Kings. Ninju getting caught out in the open, getting destroyed. And now Spray God, the impact player of Global Esports, he also wants to find a piece of that pie, which is being utterly destroyed by GE.
Global Esports getting 2 so far. An okay start. It's not the best, but still something you can work with. Mad Kings, even they were off to quite a bad start. Clutch got the only man surviving. So far, the day hasn't been forgiving for the players of Mad Kings. It's been taking a toll on them. And here's the important part. Mad Kings, this is going to be the last game for the day for them. So we need to make it count. Global Esports from the far fray. Shots were taken against Likitha as Smoker falls down. Starboy in the back as well. IG lost Hermanos now closing in because they know Likitha Esports is extremely hurt, and IG lost Hermanos. They're here to claim the points, and they will too. That's a free elimination point right there. And just like that, the entirety of Likitha Esports has been eliminated and wrapped up in a sheet.
Struggle still continuing out there on the 18th position with only 1 point claim. Likitha Esports not really doing the best out there. But one thing that you can enjoy is definitely going to be that multi-cam feature, as it's for the very first time, and that's only exclusively available for the people who are watching the BGMS Season 4 on Jio Hotstar. All the 4 bounty teams who were there early on, Soul, Godlike, God's Reign, Orangutan, you can watch their POVs as well. You can specifically select that. Aquanox is now back in the lineup as well for 8-bit, so it's again all the 4 strong boys back in action, and they're ready
to
take the others down on the 12th position right now.
Oh, that nade. It's a bit too close, and Somraj, the man gets surprised.
Beast.
We all saw that coming. And Beast, keep this thing in mind. This guy's the impact player for K9 Esports. So he gets 2 points out of that one finish. K9 Esports sending Beast on the aggressive foot, which makes a lot of sense as well. But now K9 Esports, they need to deal with another Goliath named 8-bit. Beast is taking a lot of damage, even from the blue and even from the back.
What?
It's not the best possible position to be in. But 8-bit, they're not done yet. Even they're trying to fight back against the players of K9 Esports as they do a decent bit of damage. Slug falls down. Ninja Boy in the back, pretty chipped up. He's beat up and bruised up. Slug is knocked out. He needs the revival. He's begging for mercy to his opponents, but 8-bit, they're not done yet. And as power, what a knock that was! Crisis down Omega, but there was an instant trade from K9 Esports. Aquanox all the way back in the blue. He's got the striking advantage, position unknown yet. But finally now K9 knows his position. Nade tossed next to Aquanox, and that's going to do the deed.
Beautiful pick coming in from Beast, and he gets 3 out of the 4 in that fight. That's 6 points coming in already right now as True Rippers face the wrath of the newly reawakened Team Aryan. Chicken in the previous one, and right now they just want to destroy every single one of them. Henry.
Oh no, he does not have ammunition.
Yeah, that's the only problem right now, but it's fine. Aryan, he's got a big flank coming in. He's got the 8x as well, and a perfect play. Destroys the entirety of True Rippers.
That's True Rippers down and executed.
Devotee.
Now they can also move up and get the loot.
Yeah.
So yeah, Team Aryan will be pretty stacked. A mid-game fight will always make sure that you're looted up and scooted up. But Team Aryan, yeah, they definitely do have a few questionable weaponries. The man was using an UMP-45 and also a shotgun. Both the weapons are meant for close range. Maybe the UMP-45 can also be used in the mid-ranges, but still. It's a weapon that works the best in the close range. So he's got 2 close-range weaponries, and that's why the loadout was pretty questionable.
It's fine. As long as it makes you win the fight. Whatever rocks your boat is something I'd eventually say right now. The bounty for Los Hermanos is still active though, and every single team that has tried to claim it haven't really had the best fate for themselves.
Yeah.
Circle. Half of it is in the urban cities and half in the open grounds with certain
Esports.
just to play with.
I'm sorry to cut you off, but it feels like they're just playing their own game every single time. It feels like in every single game they're trying something new. And I guess you guys should as well try something new, and that's going to be the Google Play Protect to make sure that your apps and data are extremely safe. But back towards the conversation, in one game you will see Metal Esports just go absolutely gun heavy, just go completely crazy for the fights. And then in the other game you will see Metal Esports just completely put. And this is one of those games where we're seeing Metal Esports played extremely passive.
Yeah. All the way towards the northwestern edges right now playing around, so not quite sure how well that's going to be panning out for them, but this is how the fight of Godlike and Genesis went. They were all in the vehicle, 3 of them in the exact same vehicle, and just
Gravity.
Instantly destroyed. You can see the laughs as well. And Zap, the ex-member of Godlike.
It's quite funny, right? Godlike's getting constantly targeted by Genesis Esports.
You know what? Genesis Esports are fame hunters. Targeting either Soul or Godlike. But the Soul one was triggered by Soul themselves for the previous game.
Well, if you really think about it, though, I mean, you can't even blame Genesis Esports. There's a bounty to be grabbed.
True.
If Genesis Esports was doing this for no reason, then yeah, maybe we can call them that. But as of now, Reckoning Esports, they're taking a fight against K9. And K9's actually starting to face the brunt. Reckoning, they do find the advantage. K9 Esports' Omega's knocked out.
Yeah, but he's safe.
Yeah, he's inside of the cover, so I don't really see a world where the man gets confirmed. But K9 Esports, they've got different plans in their mind. They want to create the off angle, punish the players of Reckoning Esports. Slug, as usual, this man is known to make those off angles on the opponents. But Reckoning Esports, they're a bit too far away from the man's reach.
The only team that they actually have to worry about right now is going to be Medal, who's a bit more behind them. With Aimbot, Termi, both having an opportunity to try and fire shots from their 6. But apart from that, yeah, nothing. This engagement needs to be solved out quickly though, because Aryan and Phoenix, both of them are outside of the circle. Phoenix haven't really been having a very nice time. In the previous game, it was MyG Los Hermanos who got 4 points out of them. This time it's Aryan who are looking in red hot form. And I don't really understand this one spread coming in from Phoenix as well. A player up front, 3 of them behind. Owen as well now trying to reposition out in the open. And he will be fired upon from his 6 because there's MyG Los Hermanos. There's also Hunters. And as I was saying, Spy was able to take him down as well. Now this is the big questionable decision making coming in from Phoenix. A player already falling down onto the knees and there's absolutely no way that he can try and save him.
Phoenix Esports, they've got no clue of what they're walking into. They might have just stepped inside of a spring trap. There's Reckoning Esports in the front, in the back. There's another team that might just get rid of Phoenix Esports. There's also Team Aryan in the nearby vicinity. I'm not a big fan of what's going on here. K9 Esports, Slug gets knocked out and confirmed. K9 in hot water as well. Reckoning Esports, they're constantly making sure that K9 Esports will face the brunt. Team Aryan in the back lines, now applying pressure on Reckoning. It's so much back and forth that's going on. And Team Aryan, they finally pushed up. And Reckoning Esports instantly respects the opponents and backs away. They're now going to move inside of the warehouse in a solid cover. Yeah, Reckoning Esports lost out of 1 man, but look at the cover they have now.
As of now, yeah, they're going to be happy about it. But if Aryan are going to bully the teams just like this, well, good luck trying to survive that as they try to take fight on every single front. Chatin as well being knocked out, and that is by Devotee.
Rough luck for Devotee. That's not the way you would want to be knocked out in such a given circumstance. especially against Phoenix Esports, a team that's been struggling. You cannot be eliminated against that team. Henry's making the pounce all by himself. This man's got some guts. He's not scared of Phoenix Esports. And that's the confidence speaking from the last game. Yash, the man's cooking up a nade. Tosses the nade towards Henry. It's not going to be able to find the right impact. Gets the loot up. Instantly looks to back away from Phoenix Esports. Team Aryan doing pretty decent to themselves.
Considering their discipline, their positional disadvantage, and everything that's happening in their vicinity, yeah, they're doing a fantastic job right now. As again, on the other side is where MyG lost Hermanos are taking some of the fights, but we're gonna still focus down onto middle, who basically being destroyed by 2 players of Team Aryan.
Team Aryan taking fights in different fronts.
Everywhere.
Even Termi's taken down pretty low. Utility tossed in. Termi, the man's taken away. Metal Esports, the remaining 2 players just can't do anything. Venom and Scout OP watching their own teammates get absolutely obliterated. And Metal Esports, if they want, they can really provide the cover. They can really move up and get the revival done. But still, for some reason, there's a bit of that hesitation, which should not be there in the first place.
It's done.
Now it's too late.
It's done. Don't really want to take the fight against Team Aryan for some reason. I have no clue why.
It just does not make any sense, right?
Doesn't.
In one game, you will see Metal Esports just go absolutely gung-ho. And now in this game, you will see Metal Esports just completely playing laid back.
That's an interesting approach coming in from their side, and I have no clue how well that's going to pan out for them. But right now, reckoning, they're trying to rain down hell on the 2 members of Aryan, understanding that they're playing with a 2-2 split. Just one long nade and a correct one. That is going to ruin the day for Aryan. And another knock being found out by Viper. Think that there should be enough time for them to toss another one. Can this find the mark? Can it will?
Oh, man.
Deletes Aryan as Henry gets down on his feet.
Oh, boy. Team Aryan struggles. Team Aryan was ripping through the opponents, but this time around, Team Aryan is now starting to face the brunt themselves. Got a bit too reckless out there. But can they really be recovered?
Yeah.
They've still got 3 players standing, so things can be good. But Reckoning Esports, from this high ground, the way they're playing, remarkable stuff. Team Aryan, they've got the revival. Now they'll once again be back towards their merry way. But just to find a decent spot inside of the circle, or at least hold the ground now down, they've got. And Team Aryan waiting for Viper to make some sort of move. There's Metal Esports on the left, Reckoning Esports in the front, and Team Aryan on the edge, playing it passive.
Team Aryan already has got 12 points at the bare minimum, considering they took nothing in the power play. I think so they've already done a decent amount of job right here, right now.
Yeah.
And every single point that they gain, it's basically an additional point up that's going to help them move up in that tally.
The only way Team Aryan can actually win this game is if they eliminate Reckoning Esports. They can also win the game if they eliminate the likes of Metal Esports and Victoria Sumus, but that might just be too much to ask for. So eliminating Reckoning Esports seems like the easy job here.
But now, considering that the circle is away from Reckoning, they're going to be forced onto an awkward angle, and one of their players is already bleeding out.
Oh no, what did he do?
No clue, but he went in the blue.
Why?
We'd have to ask Reckoning during the interview if they win this game.
The man just went all the way back in the blue and got knocked out. And it felt intentional. I'm not sure if he wanted to create an off angle or something else was told.
Maybe.
But whatever's going on, Reckoning Esports, I'm not sure what they were thinking in that scenario.
MyG still facing a bit of trouble coming in from Genesis. They need to still worry about the 2 players that are surviving, and one of them is Hunters, and he's the impact player, and I have no clue what he tried to do. Evil. That's exactly where the nade came in from. They knew what was happening out there, and he instantly gets destroyed as well as trying to answer back on the nest of the members of MyG. But eventually gets taken down as well. Spraygod still surviving, still standing for Global Esports, and every single finish he gets will count as 2.
Troy's knocked out. Revival will be there. It's not a problem. Spray God, he's the impact player, so if the man is able to get the elimination, that will be counted as 2 points, and that's what he does. Quick reflex from Spray God, but the question was, what was the man from Genesis Esports doing? It felt like he thought both the players from Global Esports were outside. But Spray God and the man, they were inside of that closet room, waiting for him to walk in the crosser, and that's what happened. Global Esports, some light work done. Spray God's managed to squeeze in 4 points so far for the boys. Victorious Sumus, now it's time to get back out there and take those fights. They've been hiding for the longest, but now Victorious Sumus, they need to be there in the playground, eliminating teams, and that's what they've realized. They're done playing safe. It's the right time to aggress on and take those fights.
Scout taken care of instantly as well by Victorious Sumus. But the other end is the main focus right now, because that's where Aryan have now been taking the fight against the members of Reckoning, and it's only down to Flock. Cyrax is the man who had the off angle, and Aryan are fighting back so well.
I told you the only way Aryan wins is if they take care of Reckoning Esports, and that's what they do. Reckoning Esports eliminated by Team Aryan. They're set up for a massive chicken dinner once again. Just a few inches away from actually claiming it, but there's Victorious Sumus. That's going to be a major problem. And as long as Victorious Sumus is still alive inside of the game, that will be a major threat. Finally, the Sumus, they decide to make the pounce. Team Aryan, they've got a major spread. It's a 2-1 split that's going on. Devotees up close and personal, but a well-placed nade from Henry is actually going to find the knock as well. But even Cyrax gets knocked out by Global Esports. It's the worst possible way Global Esports could have punished the players of Team Aryan. And that's why now Team Aryan is getting absolutely destroyed by Victorious Sumus. They've got the man advantage. They've got everything working for them. While Team Aryan, the back is against the blue. They need to keep on moving. They need to be on the move. Cheyenne patched up. Victorious Sumus once again intact. Mafia still knocked out, but it's fine. They can keep on consistently applying that pressure. Team Aryan, Cyrax is knocked out. Devotee's knocked out. Henry's the only glimmer of hope.
Can he help his team back up on the feet is the big question. As Mafia is going to be patching himself up as well. 6 more seconds for the revival to come through. And then the next few seconds for the HP as the blue makes it moves as well. Devotee taken care of, and Henry will fall. It's Victorious Sumus after a long time with a convincing fight win. As now we move on to stage 9. 2.5 minutes for it to collapse, and it's going to be Global Esports who will be pushed onto an unfortunate position outside of these compounds.
Victorious Sumus' passive and defensive gameplay finally working out, and Team Aryan is extremely unhappy with what happened to them. They were set up for a proper chicken dinner after eliminating the entirety of Reckoning Esports, but they still messed up. Cyrax should not have been knocked out, and I'm pretty sure that's why Cyrax was getting a bit of those choice words upon himself.
Oh!
Now, Global Esports destroying Victorious Sumus. Global Esports' defense has been impenetrable. It's been immaculate, and that's what Global Esports is playing off of. But just 2 men, it's still quite tough to stand tall against a team like Victorious Sumus.
Nade.
Spray God cooks up the nade. This nade's going to be cooked up to perfection. And it blasts and takes down another man from Victorious Sumus. Spray God, the man's back in his old glory. He's now waiting to claim the chicken dinner. The man's taken down low. One more shot connection is needed to get the man. And Spray God does it in style. What a way to close the game. Spray God proving why that name is given to him.
It was almost a 1v4, if not an actual 1v4. All odds stacked against them, and Spray God stands tall. The impact player providing the maximum impact for the team. What an insane performance from this dude.
Impressive. Absolutely impressive. This is the Spray God that we saw a year back. This is the Spray God that lifted 2 official trophies back to back. And now he's back in his form. This is not easy to pull off. Absolutely not. 4 players from Victorious Sumus. Spray God just absolutely dismantling them without any efforts. The man made it look easy, but I'm pretty sure it wasn't. Victorious Sumus, all that defensive and that passive gameplay just to get dismantled by one man like that. Unacceptable. This has been happening to them for a long time, but this has to end now.
Nasty performance, bro. Like, he got at least a bare minimum of 3 finishes for himself. That means it eventually fell down to that 1v3 and he converted it perfectly.
Perfection personified by the man Spray God himself. But as we all know, Global Esports, they're still pretty far back in the overall standings. Before now, it's time for us to toss to a short break.
R is for RAM on roids. A 12 gigabyte ramped up, run on all engines, upgraded, and a world resigned to 8 gig. Ridiculously ripped. Raise the stakes with a ruthless dozen. Ready to raid. Write faster, roll smoother. Reach higher with a refuse to die battery. Every app, every activity. Rep, 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 rep. If it's in your radius, R keeps it on rotation. OnePlus 13R. R is ours.
Bro, we're about to drop.
Just a second. I need to finish this video.
Ask Gemini on Android, it will give highlights.
Press for key highlights.
Only on Android.
TVS Raider, the wicked ride.
Real MVPs are not born. They practice every day. For OP moves on the field and in life.
Duolingo English Test. Proud supporters of dreamers and doers.
Red Bull gives you wings.
हम बिगिनिंग हमेशा नहीं था स्टार यूसी लेने से पहले सोचता था 100 बार डर था बड़ा स्कैम्स का डाउट थे 1000 तो प्ले ओपी आया तो लगाई नया पर तो मैंने लिया यूसी सेव गेम किया रेस ले मेरे साथ यहाँ ड्रॉप्स एकदम हार्ड प्ले तेरे साथ ओपी तू भी कर ले स्टार्ट
After witnessing such an iconic moment from the man himself, Spray God, it feels like he's back in his old form. But the questions will be answered in the upcoming games. As of now, though, we also need to talk about Victorious Sumus, and they're consistently getting eliminated in the final 2 moments, because that's what's been happening in the majority of the games. You will see Victorious Sumus in the top 5, but they're just not able to close it off.
It just falls down to them converting the fights, right? And it's always a question if they're able to convert that or not. That's something that they've been facing a lot of struggle with. It seems like, again, man, they're not really protecting each other's backs.
And maybe they need to install the Google Play Protect to keep their apps and data safe. And you guys should do the same as well. Get the Google Play Protect installed in your phone right now. What are you laughing at? Open up your phone and install it.
All right. I'm going to do that. While that, you talk about the MVP.
Exactly. The MVP of the previous game has to be the man himself, Spray God. He's also the impact player for Global Esports with 60% finish contribution, saving the day for his teammates, and also getting 12 points secured. Keep that thing in mind. Each and every single elimination the impact player gets will be counted as 2 points.
And one of the big things was that he was the man who saved his team from being eliminated by Los Hermanos when they were pushing onto them. And we've been talking about this time and time again, how every single time Global Esports defense is one of the strongest. So if they find themselves in the smack center and the circle is forming around them, good luck trying to break through their defense, right? There are only just 2 players standing out strong. That was impeccable. Even Ninja Boy coming in from the K9 Esports, getting that rescuer, right? I think so. That's absolutely fine, but I kind of expected a bit more from K9.
It was quite a decent game, even from the side of Team Aryan, honestly speaking.
Yeah.
They were there in the final few moments, getting a lot of elimination points. Yeah, not really taking the advantage of the power-ups once again, but they do have an impact player as well, who was able to squeeze in a few elimination points to himself. So Team Aryan is doing pretty okay. But the game started off with Genesis Esports ripping through Hero Extreme Godlike and claiming that bounty as well. So that means Genesis Esports as well. They've got 18 points.
That's a big thing, right? 18 points off the rip, then a few more extra eliminations here and there. They've also hit a big 20-point banger for themselves, but eventual highlight, yeah, it was stolen away by Spray God.
Of course.
A massive 1v4 conversion coming in against Victor Sumus. Insane. And with the way how he navigated around that smoke as well, phenomenal. And I think so if this thing continues, yeah, Global Esports will eventually find themselves up in the top 4.
This really makes you question what's going on with Victor Sumus, choking up fights like that. Global Esports getting 26 points, Genesis Esports getting 21 points, Team Aryan with 19, Victoria Sumas getting 14 points, that's a decent bit of points to themselves, and then even 4TR getting 12 points, Reckoning Esports with 12 as well, Los Hermanos getting 9, consistency is being maintained, K9 Esports with 7, and Phoenix Esports, finally, this is probably the most amount of points they've got.
Yeah, I mean, after a long time, finally getting certain things right, utilizing that power play as well, or a bit more of that impact player coming in for their side, they should be a bit more happy. But here's the thing now. We're seeing a lot of points disparity between the teams, Necro, right? In the first 2 or 3 days, we were talking about how 7 and 8 points are going to be pretty average points for you. Considering the impact player, the bounty, the power play, everything in the mix, and how we're constantly seeing plus 25-pointer games for the first team, I'm pretty sure that average has risen down to at least 12 points.
Genesis Esports, after cracking down Hero Extreme Godlike, now they've entered inside of the top 4. You've also got Global Esports on the 2nd spot. A while ago I was saying Global Esports' positioning in the overall standings, it wasn't that impactful, but now after that one single game, Global Esports, they've catapulted themselves in the top 2. OG still at the top, untouched, which is of course a great thing, and that's Aura. But now let's move on towards the 2nd page and see what sort of changes we're going to see over there. But Team Aryan breaching inside of the top 8, that's also headlight.
That's exactly what I wanted to point out, right? Even Team Aryan moving up in the top 8, that's the big thing, because apart from them, no other team I've seen right now have managed to move themselves up all the way from the 2nd page, or maybe the lower end of the 2nd page, to all the way up in the 1st page itself. So that's a big leap. Mad Kings on the other side, yeah, not really the greatest day for them. But here's the thing. All the teams that are standing up from the 4th place towards the bottom, right, going in towards the 16th spot, one big game and they can eventually bounce back up. But yeah, this is where the main problems begin. Again, this last page where teams don't have a lot of points.
4TR, Likitha Esports, unfortunately, I hate to break it to them, they're done for the day. They're not going to be playing the upcoming game. Likitha Esports will be playing the upcoming game, but for 4TR, yeah, they're done for. And it really feels bad, right? Because you expect a lot more from Zegon and the boys, and Zegon, finally, the man's making his comeback. 4TR, in the recent officials, this was one of those teams that cracked in towards the LAN finals, did pretty good for themselves. So I expect a lot more from them. I do not want to see them on the last page. I want to see them on the 1st or at least on the 2nd page doing decent for themselves. But something that's going to help you do decent is also going to be the Duolingo English test, accepted over 6,000 plus universities. And yes, do take the test. Let us know how it went.
Absolutely. You can quickly tag us as well, and it will be helping you out too. That is if you tag us. But here's the thing. I'm pretty sure you might have taken that test as well, right? But we'll be talking about that in a while now, because the groups will be changed up. It's going to be A and B playing now. So OG, the only bounty team, will be playing the first game, and that too of Sanhok.
And exactly my point. That's what I was about to mention. Sanhok is now going to be in play. OG back in action. There's a big chance OG can actually get a massive game to themselves and once again continue that lead. But knowing that OG is not really playing for big games anymore, I think they're just going to do enough to sustain that spot. But let's move on to the stage for a quick interview.
मेरे साथ इस समय सेंसे अब एक नई कॉन्वर्सेशन स्टार्ट हो चुकी है कि भाई आपके पास इंपैक्ट प्लेयर्स आ चुके हैं, तो इंपैक्ट प्लेयर कौन है आपका?
ट्रेस गॉड।
ओके, ट्रेस गॉड है आपका इंपैक्ट प्लेयर। लेकिन हमने अभी तक मैचेस में देखा इंपैक्ट प्लेयर्स का कुछ का तो इंपैक्ट अच्छा बन रहा है, कुछ का नहीं बन पा रहा है। ट्रेस पे कितना भरोसा है?
ट्रेस पे बहुत ज़्यादा भरोसा है। देखो, मैं अपने साथ किसी पे भरोसा नहीं करता, लेकिन अगर मैंने ट्रेस पे दाव लगा रखा है तो आई थिंक ट्रेस ऑब्वियसली हम उसमें बहुत ज़्यादा बिलीव करते हैं, क्योंकि इसने पास में भी हमें इतने सारे जो MVP टाइटल्स है जीतते हुए हमारी टीम के लिए दिलाए हैं, एंड खुद भी इतना अच्छा खेलते हैं, तो आई थिंक ट्रेस गॉड इज द वन जिस पर हम भरोसा कर सकते हैं। ओशन
एंड RNTX, you were part of a different team, अभी RNTX के साथ आए हो। This has been a question कि अलग रिस्पॉन्सिबिलिटी तो आई होगी, वो रिस्पॉन्सिबिलिटी सेंसे कैसे झेल रहा है इस समय? फैंस का प्रेशर, कुछ अलग प्रेशर तो होगा, बिकॉज TX एज अ नाम 2 ट्रॉफीज उठाई हैं।
आपने बात तो सही कही, लेकिन अभी हम प्रेजेंट में जीते हैं, तो मेरे यही कहना है कि देखो रिस्पॉन्सिबिलिटीज वगैरह, जो आप प्रेशर वगैरह तो नहीं है, रिस्पॉन्सिबिलिटीज बड़ी है, ट्रस्ट है, जो रेवेनेंट के ओनर हैं, मैनेजमेंट हैं, और इनफैक्ट जो फैंस है, जो पुराने फैंस है, उनका भी मतलब हमें ट्रस्ट जीतना है, क्योंकि वो अभी उतना प्यार दिखा नहीं रहे हैं। वो बोल रहे हैं कि यार अभी भी वो थे, तो आई थिंक उनका हमें ट्रस्ट जीतना है, उन्हें दिखाना है कि जो हम लोग हैं, जो RNTX है, वो काफ़ी अच्छा खेलती है, एंड हमें भी प्यार इतना ही मिलना चाहिए।
सैटिरिकल सार्कास्टिक सेंसे से ये सुपर सरप्राइजिंग सेंसे कब बनेगा, वो अब इस गेम के अंदर जरूर पता चल जाएगा। बट थैंक यू वेरी मच, ऑल द वेरी बेस्ट।
R is for RAM on roids. A 12 gigabyte ramped up, run on all engines, upgraded in a world resigned to 8 gig. Ridiculously ripped. Raise the stakes with a ruthless dozen. Ready to raid. Write faster, roll smoother. Reach higher with a refuse to die battery. Every app, every activity. Rep. If it's in your radius, R keeps it on rotation. OnePlus 13R. R is ours.
How did we go from bathtub to battleground?
Gemini on Android, bro. Anything can happen.
Press to create videos.
Only on Android.
TVS Raider, the wicked ride.
Real MVPs are not born. They practice every day for OP moves on the field and in life.
Duolingo English Test. Proud supporters of dreamers and doers.
Red Bull gives you wings.
With Group B now back in action, you will see a lot of fluctuations, and I'm talking about the overall standings. OG still untouched on the first spot, but they're not too far away from the second spot position to be touched. So OG, if they want to maintain that first spot, they need to get a few more points in this map of Sanhok. And it's not just about OG. Even Seoul lost their podium finish after yesterday's day. So Seoul, if they do want to get it back in their hands, Seoul needs to perform in this game.
Well, certainly, even the players of Global Esports, at the start of the day, they were nowhere close to top 4, and now they're sitting on the second spot. And Necro, I was actually having a talk with Maya V on the backstage, and he was actually feeling very confident. I asked him if they really want to take advantage of the impact player and the bounty system. He was like, no, we are just going to go with the natural game style which we have, and maybe from week number 2 we'll try going for those bigger things. But for now, our focus is just to be in the top 4 and get a chicken dinner. And they did it perfectly.
Exactly. Global Esports just dominating through the competition, at least as of now. And I've been saying this with Scared Ed as well from the start, that Global Esports' defense has been impenetrable. And now that Spray God has activated himself, getting a massive chicken dinner for his boys, and also getting the advantage for his team with the impact player role, it feels like Global Esports, they're also another force to be reckoned with in the top 4. And if they keep on running away with that many points consistently, then Global Esports will be right next to OG, or maybe taking over OG.
Could be possible. It's just only 5-point difference, and Orangutan has not really been going for that aggression or that aggressive side. They're just going for those average points in every single game. And there is something for everyone. With Google Play points, you can earn rewards, and every purchase And I've already got a lot of points, Necro, by the way. How many do you have?
Unfortunately, I'm broke, so I don't really make a lot of purchases in the first place. But since I've heard that now, I might try to make a few purchases myself. And I would recommend you guys do it as well. You're getting some sort of points, you're getting something back, so that's probably the best possible thing. But back towards the game, and that what we were speaking of, there's also another team, REVENANT X-Park, that's in the race. And generally speaking, this Group B, they've got a lot of stacked names. You've got OG, you've got Seoul, who's doing quite good for themselves. You've also got REVENANT X-Park, which was doing pretty incredible for themselves. And let's not forget, God's Reign 2 is back in the action. NINZA, I would have said that's another solid team, but since they've been struggling so much, it's a whole nother story. NINZA, the playstyle that they want to execute, it's not been working out. NINZA is known to play that passive defensive gameplay, but in the BGMS Season 4, it's not been working out that well. But I hope they're going to make a few changes to themselves, they're going to make a few changes to their playstyle and do better. But we've got a nice interview lined up with Spray God, so let's move on and have a look at that.
भाई बहुत चक्के हैं लोग अभी भी आई थिंक उभर नहीं पाए इस बात से क्योंकि ऑड्स तुम्हारे खिलाफ थे यू हैड फ्यूअर मेन एक्टिव बाकी टीम्स जो हैं दे वर लोडेड उसके बावजूद 1v4 मारना और वहां पे चिकन निकालना ऐसा नहीं होता है आम तौर पे ऐसा नहीं होता है क्या ये बात अब सिंक इन कर चुकी है दैट यू हैव पुल्ड ऑफ द इम्पॉसिबल
देखो वही है मतलब इजी तो नहीं था बट हाँ मतलब कॉन्फिडेंस था कि हाँ मैं कर सकता हूँ और मेरे पे मतलब बहुत सारे नीड्स भी थे और मान्या ने मतलब वही कॉल देती थी कि तू इजी मार देगा 1v4 तो मैंने वही किया 1v4 कर दिया लास्ट में चारों को मार दिया और चिकन ले लिया
स्प्रे इतने साल से हम भी मिलते हुए आ रहे हैं हमने बहुत सारी बातें भी की हैं ना कभी कभी ऐसा हुआ है कि तुम्हारी शिद्दत पे सवाल उठाए गए हैं कि इज ही फुली 100% कमिटेड टैलेंट और स्किल में कभी कोई सवाल नहीं उठा है क्या इस बात से तुम अग्री करते हो
मतलब सवाल तो मतलब उठाए ही गए थे मतलब बीच में हो गया था ऐसा पर हाँ मैं अभी प्रूव कर रहा हूँ अपने आप को कि हाँ मैं मतलब उस फेज से अभी निकल गया जब मेरे पे क्वेश्चंस हो रहे थे ठीक है अब बढ़िया है लाइफ में अगर कोई क्वेश्चन कर रहा है तो प्रूव करना भी बढ़िया है उस चीज़ में तो मैं प्रूव कर रहा हूँ सबको कि हाँ
जिन परिस्थितियों में तुमने ये मैच जीता जिस सिचुएशन से तुमने ये मैच जीता है सर्कमस्टेंसेस टोटली अगेंस्ट लेकिन ऐसी जीत के बाद क्या कॉन्फिडेंस अब चरम पे है बिकॉज दिस इज योर सेकंड चिकन डिनर अब यहां से अगर आप और ज्यादा बेहतर होना चाहते हैं क्या अब तुम्हें कुछ नहीं रोक रहा है
देखो वही है अगर हम अपना बेस्ट देंगे चारों बंदे तो हमको कोई रोक नहीं सकता है वैसे और हम चारों अच्छे मतलब एक अच्छी टीम है तो हमारा कॉन्फिडेंस भी अभी हाँ मतलब बूस्ट तो होता ही है ऐसे ऐसे मोमेंट के बाद तो हाँ हमारा कॉन्फिडेंस बहुत ऊपर है अभी
इंटरव्यू होने से पहले यहाँ पे जितने भी लोग बैठे हुए हैं ना एक एक करके इसके पास आ रहे हैं और कह रहे हैं भाई क्या किया है सेम थिंग आई थिंक दैट इज द फीलिंग भाई क्या किया है बॉयज बैक टू यू भाई क्या किया है
Sanhok will be booting up on the screen within a few moments, and it feels like everyone's now getting locked in and loaded. Spray God, the man had a lot to prove, and that one moment definitely proved quite a bit. But he's still got a decent bit of proving more to do, because this is not the end yet. Global Esports needs to perform just like this, even in the Grand Finals, or before the Grand Finals, to stay in the top 4 consistently.
Not just Global Esports, I think even the players of Orangutan also needs to buckle up their shoes because now the point difference is just 5 points between OG and Global Esports, and I heard from the players that they are feeling a bit under the weather as well. This could be the opportunity for Global Esports to make their top spot with them.
It's time to keep everything aside. It's time to keep your emotions aside as well and lock in the game. Focus up. That's what OG needs to do and maintain that first spot in the overall standings. As the plane's going to be hitting the skies once again, starting all the way from Hothin towards the southern side, which will be Camp Charlie. This plane flight path, once again, it's not really going to matter or not really going to create any sort of difference because it is the map of Sanhok after all.
Well, certainly, and speaking about the drop location, I think the players of TWOB are also moving all the way towards the side of Cow. Then we also have the players of Team FS who are going for a split drop. 2 players gliding all the way towards the side of Hothin, 2 players gliding towards Camp Alpha, and I really can't understand what sort of split actually the players of FS are trying to pull off.
There's 3 teams moving towards Paradise Resort. There's going to be a major clash.
Uh-oh.
We love to see it. OG in a big world of trouble. Everyone wants to claim the bounty. There's also Soul right next to OG. It's not looking good for them. So many teams around the block, and now you've got Reckoning Esports getting ripped apart. My apologies, it's not OG, it's someone else. It's Reckoning Esports, actually. But even God's Reign, they're getting stopped in tracks. At this point in time for God's Reign, the momentum has not been too good for them in the overall standings, and even inside of this game, it's not looking too great. Reckoning Esports, they're shredding through the players of God's Reign, as now they're just down to that one last man. And I highly doubt he can do a lot in the given circumstance, in the given situation. So Justin is going to try to do as much damage as possible, and probably in the end accept the fate. And that's what's probably going to happen over here.
And with that, even the players of God's Reign had to bet an early exit. And all that happened in the power play. Reckoning Esports, 8 points accumulated in the very start of the game. And also, they have the entire control of Paradise Resort. They lost onto one of the player, but still, it's a fair trade. Getting 8 points in exchange of 1 casualty, I think they're doing pretty decent. But we also have got a situation between the players of True Rippers and VS. Kind of a stalemate situation. OG, iQOO, they do have a bounty on their heads. And iQOO is also very close proximity to the players of Reckoning Esports, but I doubt they will go for the third party, or they will go against the players of Reckoning Esports at this point.
Victorious Sumus as well, locking their horns. And this is one of those fights that we know it's going to take a while to be executed. True Rippers is another team that Victorious Sumus is looking to take up on. Honestly speaking, Victorious Sumus probably wants to disengage from this fight. They like to play it passive, they like to play it defensive. That's what the playstyle's been for Victorious Sumus since the start. That's also been a problem, but that's also been a good thing. Victorious Sumus do get enough amount of points in every single game to keep themselves in a decent spot, but decent is not enough. You need to be outstanding. But I'm going to hold on to that word, as we've got FS Esports taking a fight against the players of NoNx. 1 knock is confirmed. But still, they haven't gotten the complete finish yet. Viper, he messes up. He wanted to get under the bridge, thinking that maybe the players of FS Esports might not have the line of sight, but Roman did.
FS Esports, 2 points accumulated at the very start. I had few doubts in the way the split was coming in from the side of FS, but seems like it's working for them. And if it is working for you, no need to mend it. But for now, Oways needs to be a bit cautious, as the entirety of VS 3+ away from Oways. And the players of True Rippers are actually charging towards him. Oways needs to reposition as soon as possible. He has got 2 grenades, but no helmet, no proper armor. This could be a problematic situation, trying to reposition, trying to confuse the players of True Rippers. But look at the position where Hydro is from the side of True Rippers. He can be the cheeky player to provide all the backline support, but Oways has taken a lot of damage from the side of True Rippers. Surviving on a sliver of HP now, Necro.
I'm going to be honest, Victorious Sumus, a proper 4v4 fight has never went their way. To be honest, they never have been good, or that good, to be in a proper 4v4 fight. Majority of the times, they've always lost those. Even in the final few moments, you will see Victorious Sumus with all the 4 players intact, and they still end up losing that fight. And this time around, Victorious Sumus, or at least Oways, he's taken a lot of damage upon himself.
And he has got no mids.
Yeah, he's stuck in such an awkward spot. I'm not even sure what he was doing in that spot in the first place. A few smokes are now being tossed out. And those smokes might just be there to get the rescue operation done, but I highly doubt True Ripper's going to let that happen. But yeah, in the radar, you also do see Los Hermanos in the close by, which means the third party might just be active now. Always crawls back towards safety, and he actually will somehow do that. Easily moves back towards safety. Victorious Sumus in a big world of trouble. They do not really have enough men to actually take on the players of True Rippers. The proper 4v4 fight has always been tough for Victorious Sumus to execute. They've not been that great. And this time around, True Rippers, they've got the man advantage. They've got every single right to go for a proper 2v2 fight. Thunder on top of the roof, his position's compromised, but it feels like True Rippers, they're not going to let that affect them and their approach. Victorious Sumus, they're in a big problem. But luckily enough, they do find return knockout against the player of True Rippers, so at least that's going to hold them back for a bit. True Rippers, 2 players taken down as of now. Third man as well falls down. And Victorious Sumus, they end up winning this fight. Defense prevails. And Victorious Sumus somehow proving me wrong.
Well, certainly no casualty at all. 4 finishes. Total 8 points accumulated in the very start of the game. And this is one of the most convincing fight. But now, Los Hermanos also showing on their doorstep. Back and forth raids are coming in. Kalan trying to provide all the backlane support. Shadow gets a perfect knock onto one of the player and gets the confirmation as well. VS. The victory seems like it's going to be very short-lived as the only last man standing is on a very low HP. And he gets a knock onto one of the player. And the second one. He was on a very low HP. Mafia.
The blue was ticking away. The man had a pixel of HP. But within a split second, he eliminates both the players of my G Los Hermanos. It's a fight Los Hermanos will never forget. Victorious Sumus winning back-to-back 2 encounters and getting 16 points out of that fight. They've already done enough. It's completely fine that they've been eliminated from this game. The moment I say Victorious Sumus were struggling in their 4v4 fights, it's the moment when they decide to activate themselves and destroy anyone that decides to charge upon them. Hey, if that's the case, I'm going to keep on saying that, so they will keep on performing.
Say that for Likitha Esports, even they need a bit of the luck at this point because they're surrounded by the players of Orangutan at this point. But for now, they're trying to pip a few bullets to the side of Meta NINZA. But Mafia, my oh my, and Los Hermanos, they came to hunt the players of VS. And they were the one who got hunted down. Not a good outing for, and obviously a lesson also learned for LHS. But look at the Esports. This team is also not doing that great. 1 finish point already in their backpack. And now we also have got a situation between the players of Medal Esports and TWOB. And seems like one of the players was knocked out. Should be an easy rescue mission, easy revival onto Pokar.
Yeah.
But TWOB, they need to be very careful because even the players of iQOO Soul are also lurking by.
Pokar's back upon his feet. It's all good in the hood for TWOB as of now. Players revived, healed up. Looking extremely good. Aimbot is the impact player for Medal Esports. But Medal Esports in general as a team, they haven't really been having that much of an impact inside of the games. They're playing all the 4 games so far. But Medal Esports, they've been losing out of the fights, and that's one of the main concerns. Because they're not able to squeeze in the points, but hold on, Soul. Oh, that could have been the second knockout. Almost made me jump off my chair. TWOB, one man picked off completely. Soul having the man advantage inside of the fight, but Medal Esports, they're still on the horizon. If Medal Esports hears too much chaos, they will charge up and go for the third party. Matt gets chipped up even more. Soul, how are they able to find so many connections? They're constantly bruising up and beating up the players of TWOB.
Legit. 1 finish point already accumulated, and he also is the impact player. And he completely forgot to add those impact player points also to the players of VS. More than 16 points have been accumulated by VS, by the way.
Yeah, that's what I was about to say as well. So VS has one impact player as well, which means they probably do have more than 16 points. Yeah, it might just be around 20.
Could be possible.
Now, that's a lot of points. Imagine that's the advantage you can have with the impact player if you let him lose and be aggressive. FS Esports, they're on a completely different side. But for now, Revenant X Bar charging in the compound of Likitha Esports, and it's the Lions dead. Likitha Esports is playing complete defense. They're not even making a lot of moves. The man in the back, Smoker, he had the advantage, but he was only able to find 1 strike, and somehow Revenant X Bar, they absolutely destroy Likitha Esports. How did this happen? Likitha had the advantage on paper.
But they didn't do anything. There was no util usage. Seemed like the defensive approach of Likitha Esports was not really working in their favor.
Revenant X Park is just better, straight up. That's all he can say.
Yeah.
They're just better, supreme.
In that particular fight, they were definitely 100% better. But iQOO so legit. The impact player trying to get as many points as much possible. The nade being cooked. No connection whatsoever. Trying to get the confirmation onto the North players of TWOB. Legend once again with another grenade trying to do something, but also giving time to the players of TWOB to reset, to go for the rescue mission. But seems like the confirmation has already been made onto Phantom. The Molotovs being lobbed. TWOB left only with 2+ and make it 1 as one more falls down through a grenade. Nakul will get the confirmation point and TWOB gets eliminated on the 11th spot. And Legend with 3 finishes, so that means 6 points.
Almost could have been a flawless fight for Seoul.
Yeah.
But they lost on Goblin in the process. Joker's knocked out by Metal Esports in the far fray, and Aimbot is now getting real up close and personal. But Metal Esports, they've got problem of their own. They're also getting shot at by the players of FS Esports. Scout OP gets knocked out. This problem, they need to find a cure to. Scout somehow always gets knocked out first from Metal Esports in an advantageous spot. This always happens. Whenever you think Metal Esports has an advantage, Scout drops down. Metal Esports as of now, as they're getting absolutely pounced on by the players of FS Esports. Metal Esports is not able to stand their ground. Aimbot in the back lines as well. Even he gets destroyed. Termi, the final man standing. Well, maybe not for too long, as even he will be knocked out. Scout is back upon his feet. The man needs to patch him, but he won't be able to do so. FS Esports now getting third party from the back by the players of Seoul. FS on the verge of being dismantled themselves. They've got a different problem to deal with.
Well, certainly Legend once again charging onto the players of FS. Levi is the last man standing. Let's see if Legend can actually spot him down, because he has no idea. Last player of FS has already repositioned, trying to patch himself up. Metal is also in the close proximity. 3 teams going up against each other. iQOO Seoul, they have got a bounty on their head. They need to be a bit cautious. But Nakul is also trying to provide all the backline support. Termi gets the confirmation point onto the players of FS. 6 points towards the side of iQOO Seoul. And now, maybe FS being eliminated, iQOO Seoul can go up against the players of Metal as well.
Maybe. 2 players from Seoul. Metal Esports is turning in the back. And Seoul, with the way they have been playing so far, I like it. I like the approach from Seoul. It's aggressive. It's good. But losing out on players in that process, now that's a bit tough. But they still do have 6 finishes racked up, which is, of course, a great thing for Seoul. And they should keep on with this momentum. And once again, just to let you guys know, you guys can watch BGMS 2025 with a multicam feature for the first time only on Geo Hotstar. You guys can watch POVs of Orangutan, Seoul, Godlike, and God's Reign. All you need to do is boot up Hotstar and watch those POVs.
That would be interesting. I would love to do that. Maybe after the show. But for now, looking at the circle also, I think Marco's Gaming, they've got a decent spot. They've got the entire southern eastern compounds under their control. Meta NINZA, they even have the southern control to themselves. But that is exactly where we also have got the players of REVENANT X Park. They're also trying to traverse from the southern end. In the meanwhile, OG, that linear split which they are trying to pull off, can actually work in their favor. iQOO Seoul trying to come in from the northern side, but Meta NINZA, Dragon, getting shots from somewhere else. Need to be a bit cautious. Whenever you're holding on to those small compounds, you have to make sure that no one gets a direct line of sight onto you, especially on the map of Sanhok. But Fierce, kind of a stalemate situation. Just trying to get as much information as much possible. But this time, Team Aryan, Necro was having such a fantastic run today. But this map of Sanhok didn't go entirely in their favor.
Yeah, Team Aryan, the playstyle they're playing, it really needs a lot of calculation. Especially on the map of Sanhok, which is quite a zone-favored map. Those calculations sometimes can be down the drain. Sanhok is simple. Head towards the center and hold it down. And hope that the zone keeps on forming on top of you. And that's what teams like OG are doing.
Yeah.
They've got a centric spot at least for themselves as of now. And if the circle keeps on shifting on top of them, it will be OG's game. It will be tough to steal it away from them. That's pretty much how you're supposed to play Sanhok.
Oh.
But Team Aryan, if you look at the past couple of games, they were playing from the edge. And that strategy is tough to pull off in the map of Sanhok.
It certainly is. But for now, what the players of Revenant X Park are trying to pull off is also quite risky. They are trying to barge into the compounds of Marcos Gaming. Maybe could be a possibility because that is exactly where they are being headed. But they also do have a certain height advantage onto MG. We also have got the players of Meta NINZA in the close fray. Could possibly a third-party situation. But the next circle shift is going to be really important. If it goes south, it is going to favor the players of RNTX, Meta NINZA, and even the players of OG as well. But if it takes a northern hard shift, then I think iQOO can definitely reap the benefits out of it because Legit is still alive.
Orangutan with the scope. Eyeing out the players of Revenant X Park in the front. And once again, the question remains. Revenant X Park is from the edge. If they do try to make it inside of the zone, they will be extremely exposed. And that's where the real threat lies. Revenant X Park will be chewed on. And that's what I'm talking about. One of the men from the side of Revenant X Park gets knocked out. They're getting chewed on. Revival will be there, but Revenant X Park, they're going to find themselves in one of the most uncomfortable spots. They will need to try and adjust themselves behind those rocks, but the question is, for how long can they play there? The circle's out in the open. Teams who have the compound have an insane amount of advantage. And to fight against them, it seems next to impossible. Revenant X Park tossing the utilities against Meta NINZA. But Meta NINZA, they find a return knock as Fierce gets knocked out. Incredible stuff. Trades happening back and forth instantly. Meta NINZA, Reaper's taken down pretty low as well. The man needs to patch himself up. He will do so, but he also needs to go for the revival. Revenant X Park, they've lost out in 2 players already. It's not a good fight at all, but they still need to brute force their way against the players of Meta NINZA, and this will happen eventually. TraceGod taking a lot of shots. He finds the confirmation against one of the players. Meta NINZA in a big world of trouble. They've still got one more man in the back standing alive. Meta NINZA almost were on the verge of being eliminated.
But they're still surviving with 2 men. Fierce has got an idea where exactly they are. Maybe they try to get the confirmation point, but the confirmation point goes towards the side of Atanki of Orangutan. In fact, OG was the one doing a third party. Even the players of Marcos Gaming were also doing a fourth party. Could possibly be a OG game if they actually defend their compound, and the next circle also forms on that very compound which they are holding on to.
The only way I see OG losing this game is if NoNx's third party or this backstab is perfect. And look at Kalyu. He's got the advantage, spots out the player, and this is what was needed to stop OG and their domination, but it's not going to matter. Aru, he still creates the off angle and shuts down both the players. The possibility of OG messing up has now been taken away. The circle shifts away from OG, and this is where the real problem begins. OG, after winning the fight, now they need to traverse inside of the zone, where Reckoning Esports, Metal Esports, and even Soul will be pinned.
And the circle also takes a bit of the northern shift, favoring the players of Team Reckoning as well. Legit of iQOO also trying to crawl his way inside the circle. That's where we have the players of Metal Esports as well. Scout OP along with Termi maintaining that entire northern control. But the main question is, are they aware about the position of Metal Esports? Are the players of Metal aware that Knuckle along with Legit is coming so close towards them? RNTX on the lower ground. They also need to watch their 6. Scout OP gets a perfect connection onto Knuckle. And this is what I was talking about. iQOO had no idea about Metal. And now this can actually go in the favor of Metal as Scout OP gets a confirmation onto Legit as well. And Soul has been eliminated on the 8th spot now.
It's a rough patch that Soul's going through, but they've already been eliminated. Too late to realize now. Team Aryan as well, following up that same track. Revenant X Park, they've still got an okay Rich to play with, but Marcos Gaming right on top is going to make it. Revenant X Park's life living hell. Shots taken from Stone. We're not able to find the knock, but Stone will now pay the price since there is one of the players from Revenant X Park right underneath, and Trace gets the confirmation, but he gets eliminated and instantly traded by the team on the opposite side. Revenant X Park did enough, did all they could. Marcos Gaming, they had all the 4 players alive a while ago, but now they're down to just that one last man, which is bad. And I don't think he can do a lot. Yeah, maybe squeezing in 1 or 2 elimination points before getting eliminated himself. But I don't see a world where Marcos Gaming can win this game.
You never know. OG Atanki also taking a lot of damage. He needs to patch himself up and he needs to be a bit careful. 8 finishes already being accumulated by OG. But look at the last player of Meta NINZA, Beard Baba. Slowly and steadily trying to crawl his way inside the circle. But it's not just OG, but also the players of Marcos Gaming who can actually spot him down. Reckoning, Flock also trying to make his way. This is going to be a mad dash inside the circle and Flock has lost a lot of HP. That was the last first hit with him. And AKOP with the DPS makes a quick work out of bad OP of Marcos Gaming.
9 finishes racked up from OG. They're not done yet. They are constantly on the prowl. And also hungry for eliminations. Aru falls down. Thanky, the man's taken down pretty low as well. But he fights that blow and eliminates Reckoning Esports from this game. OG still with a chance to try and revive each other. And those are some great odds. Beard Baba all the way in the back from Meta NINZA, the only survivor. Metal Esports, this is probably the best possible performance they've had so far. I told you OG has a solid chance of winning, but the other teams messing up has also contributed in OG's success.
And also the fact that AKOP is also the impact player. He has got 5 finishes, that means 10 total points. And OG has got 11 points. So many points accumulated by Orangutan. I think no one is going to touch them in the leaderboard.
Oh, no.
So many points in just a single game. And if they get a chicken dinner, which is highly possible, 12, 13 finishes. Even the players of Metal Esports have also been eliminated by AKOP and the boys. There's only 2 teams remaining. Meta NINZA, the last player, Beard Baba, has made it inside the top 2. But can he do something else? 0 finishes. Just the position points is what he has right now.
I don't think he can do a lot from this given position. He does not even have meds to patch himself up. He does have a lot of ammunition, but I don't think that's going to make any difference. And that's it for Meta NINZA. And OG, they start things off with an absolute bang. They needed this to maintain the first spot in the overall standings, and when asked for it, OG, they deliver every single time. AKOP being the impact player, even he was able to have a lot of impact in that game. And of course, why not? Have a bit of fun, boys. You guys deserve it. You've been dominating the overall charts since day 1, and the domination is still continuous. It's still consistent. This is what you like to see from a team in red-hot form, and they deliver yet again.
And they deliver it with a banger performance, with a domination. So many points accumulated by the entire team of Orangutan. And last what I saw, AKOP had more than 5 or 6 finishes. So 12 points just by the single lad.
Yeah.
And so many points, 10 total position points also.
Impressive
Performance.
Reckoning Esports, they were also there in the final few moments, but just being there is not going to do it. They also need to win the fight. Before now, it's time for us to toss to a short break.
Bro, we're about to drop.
Just a second. I need to finish this video.
Ask Gemini on Android, it will give highlights.
Press for key highlights.
Only on Android.
TVS Raider, the wicked ride.
Real MVPs are not born. They practice every day. For OP moves on the field and in life.
Duolingo English Test. Proud supporters of dreamers and doers.
Red Bull gives you wings.
In the rainforest, we know that there's only one team that remains on top, and that is the Apes, and the domination is always unreal. Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen. You all are watching the OnePlus Android BGMI Master Series Season 4. I'm going to be scared yet. And alongside me, Shadow, you witnessed the entire game previously. Holy smokes! What was that?
That was just OG. And they were actually feeling under the weather. And if this is how they play when they are not feeling well, I wonder how they're going to play when they are in their best.
I'm pretty sure that there were a lot of people in the back end as well in the room.
Yeah.
We were discussing about how OG on day 2 they performed insanely well. Day 3 struggle, day 4 struggle. Seems like day 5, I mean, this Sanhok was absolutely insane. But before we move on forward, ladies and gentlemen, a huge shout out to Duolingo, specifically their Duolingo English test, which is accepted by 6,000 universities worldwide. Let's send Necro to give that test as well. We'll let you know about the results. But coming back to the conversation, Shadow, not just OG, but also Victor Sumus finally winning their major duels.
Taking full advantage of the power play. I don't know how many points, more than I think 8 or 16 points which they have got, but this is the guy who stole the entire show. AKOP 7 finishes, 50% finish contribution, and he was also an impact player. 7 finishes, that means 14 points just by AKOP.
That's absolutely insane start coming in out there as well, man. It's just fantastic if you even think about it. 14 points plus, I'm not quite sure if he got any in the power play itself as well, but if they did, that means it's going to be even higher right now. Having a look at the stars of the match as well. AKOP again leading the charts in terms of the finisher as well. Finishing off that last player. And Fierce getting that rescue. 3 revivals given to Revenant X Park. Now, they also won a very crucial fight, I remember, when 2 of their players were knocked out as well.
Yeah, they also did perform really well, and Orangutan, I think, correct me if I'm wrong, I think they have broken the record of Mad Kings, getting highest points in a single match.
We'll have to get that check on that, right? Because I know you want to relive those moments, so let's have a look at the OnePlus never settle moments of the previous game as things kicked off with Mafia just pulling off this insane play, man. The Vector in the hand switches to M4 and absolutely destroys the team in front of him, and then eventually Revenant X Park as well. They had their own shining moments, they had their own glorious moments. Overall, it was a Tanki show for OG. Now here's the thing, right? AKOP, he had 6 finishes for himself, eventually landed in the last one as well, and this celebration is definitely going to be a highlight.
Well, certainly, OG is known for their celebration moments because they always do it in the style. So the way they get that winner chicken and also in the style. But looking at the match ranking now, OG, they have got 31 points.
Holy smokes! The math is insane. But that's absolutely crazy. It's ludicrous coming in. But that's not just about it, right? Even Middle getting 24 points for themselves. That is big. Victor Sumus 18 points. Reckoning 16 points. Necro's been talking about the average of 8. I'm pretty sure that the average is even going to increase further than 10, 11. Now it's still going to go on 12 out there, but Shadows struggles over towards the lower end of the board.
TWOB once again not having the best of the run on the map of Sanhok, just 0 points accumulated. True Rippers also, they had to exit early. Team Aryan, they were actually having a good day, but the map of Sanhok didn't go entirely in their favor. But in the overall ranking, OG on the top with 156 points. And now iQOO Seoul has also toppled over the players of Global Esports and secured the second spot for themselves. 126 points to their name. Global Esports on the third with 120 and Genesis on the fourth.
2 teams having the bounties on both of them being in the top 2 out there. That's going to be pretty big. But once we move down over towards the lower end as well, God's Reign, this team was in the top 4 before we started today's day. Yes, they did not play the first 2 games, but the Sanhok really did not vent out for them as they took the fight against Reckoning, who themselves eventually are not doing too hot, but it's absolutely fine. But it's TWOB, right? That is the team I actually want to focus on because they really need to move up in the rankings.
Yeah, and so do the players of Phoenix Esports as well and 4TR. These teams are actually struggling a lot in the overall ranking, but okay.
Boys
the
are ready.
MVP is actually yawning.
It seems like it's not a big thing for him to try and make those plays, right?
Like a casual game.
So it's chill, it's cool, it's absolutely fine. I'm pretty sure he's had a sip of Bisleri water as well to try and keep him calm. But yeah, I agree. I mean, OG, unstoppable, untouched out there. And they've also got the 30-point lead once again back for themselves. It seems like they're playing on some nasty device, and I'm pretty sure it's going to be the OnePlus 13R with them, because with that, you can have a maximum long-lasting gaming experience, and it also comes equipped with the Snapdragon 8 series 3rd gen processors. That means maximum FPS and also super fast charging, Shadow. I know you absolutely love that super fast charging so that you can charge your phone up quickly and then keep on gaming for longer hours. Make sure that you do that. That's how you perform like OG. But coming back into the conversation, I know that there's a lot of things that we both want to talk about as well. And there's going to be the last map of Erangel, ladies and gentlemen. But before we move on to that, we're going to give Shadow a breather as well. We'll be back after this short break.
R is for RAM on roids. A 12GB ramped up, run on all engines, upgraded in a world resigned to 8 gig. Ridiculously ripped. Raise the stakes with a ruthless dozen. Ready to raid. Write faster, roll smoother. Reach higher with a refuse to die battery. Every app, every activity. Rep, 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 rep. If it's in your radius, R keeps it on rotation. OnePlus 13R. R is ours.
How did we go from bathtub to battleground?
Gemini on Android, bro. Anything can happen.
Press to create videos.
Only on Android.
TVS Raider, the wicked ride.
Real MVPs are not born. They practice every day for OP moves on the field and in life.
Duolingo English Test. Proud supporters of dreamers and doers.
Red Bull gives you wings.
Join Google Play Points, the loyalty program that offers you exciting benefits. Now earn points on every purchase. Play more. Level up to gold and platinum. And unlock exclusive rewards.
Celebrate every second you are alive. Life has no rule books, but we can give you a stage.
For a game like that and for the skins that all these players have in their own respective games, ladies and gentlemen, you'd really want to spend your money to get those skins. But if you do that, make sure that you get the Google Play Protect points as well side by side, because that can be utilized to redeem some nice things later on. So huge shout out to the Google Play Protect points. Make sure you check them out too. But now with that said and done, Shadow, 31 points for OG in that previous game. 14 just by the 7 eliminations of AK, and then overall their team had 14 finishes, so 7 more points out of that, 21, and then 10 points for their position. 31 point banger which they pulled off. and now they've got a 30-point lead against the second-placing team. So they're basically falling back onto the exact same pattern of having a big advantage. Where do they go from here now?
Close to 200 points. They've already got 156 points. They can maybe try to get one more 30 bomber. Just imagine if OG has also eliminated a bounty team or have got those finished points in the power play. It's actually possible to cross the mark of 180.
I'm pretty sure that I would really need to drink the Bisleri water right now to keep myself calm after hearing that reply, because I am very much excited for that thing to happen. But ladies and gentlemen, we know that Erangel is about to hop up right now in front of us, and we can already see the players with the dancing cams out there happening. And you know we'll be jumping into the long and awaited lands of one of the most favorite map of the entire subcontinent, with the teams that are now trying to pull themselves back up in this game. Ladies and gentlemen, the last game of day 5 is here, and every team wants to have a maximum impact.
Well, certainly they want to have the impact and also take advantage of the power play, but for that, they need to buckle up their seats, and seems like all the players are ready to experience this last Erangel and deliver the best performance. But the main question is going to take the advantage of power play. But let's have a look at the flight path that's going all the way from the side of Crore towards the side of Lipovka. Seems like a decent flight path, favoring all the major drop cities and locations for the players. Mighty lost Hermanos. In the previous one, they came for the hunt and were got hunted by the players of VS. Not the players, actually by Mafia. That 1v2 which he pulled off. I'm sure LHS, they learned their lesson, and this time they're not going to make any mistake. But my eyes are on the drop clash. Are we actually going to witness any drop clash?
It's highly possible that we might. Soul, because they really like to drop around the school area as well, and OG, they've been taking that Rozhok space for themselves. I think so we might potentially see both of these teams carry a bounty on their head, and there's actually NoNx going in the same direction too. That's pretty interesting to see as to where things would eventually land. Very northwestern centric circle coming into the play as well. Most of the teams would obviously be in it. Not really having any major difficulties, as OG, they take a little bit extra space over up towards the north. Not really fully occupying the Rozhok area, but also some of the surroundings. And for some reason, I'm thinking that they might go towards Severny, considering K9 are not here.
Just imagine, what if the final circle forms on the island where Visgod is currently?
I really hope that doesn't happen.
We have seen that kind of circles.
We have.
It's rare, but we have seen.
I don't want to see that happen.
I would love to see that. I'm sure even the players of OG would love to see that, considering they have the entire control of that water city.
But that means we won't see OG fight a lot, because they will mostly be in the center, and not a lot of teams would want to occupy those spaces.
In such crazy circle where we are short on the real estate, OG can take advantage of it and get those elimination points for sure.
They'll probably try to get some scraps here and there, because most of the fights will be off center. I'd rather want a shooting range circle. Most of the teams are down south on the main island, as well as God's Reign all the way towards the military base. Make things tough for everyone equally.
Makes things difficult for God's Reign. In the previous one also, they were eliminated pretty early in the game, and this time even the circle is also not favoring them. So God's Reign, this is going to be a really important game for them.
And you can watch it exclusively on the multicam feature that is available on Jio Hotstar, ladies and gentlemen. Was the BGMS 2025 multicam for the top 4 bounty teams at the start of the day. 3 of them currently playing right now, OG, Soul, as well as God's Reign. You can check out their exclusive cams, see the rotation they want to go for, try and read onto their gameplay. But that's such a nice feature, you know.
It most certainly is. But Metal Esports, I want to talk about this particular team, Scared. In the previous Sanhok also, they had the entire northern control. It was only Scout and Termi remaining from the side of Metal Esports, and such a power-packed, aggressive lineup. in the leaderboard, they're actually struggling. They're sitting on the 15th spot. Would love to see them climb up just like the players of Global Esports did today. For that, they need to take advantage of the power play, and Medal has not been doing that actually.
It seems like, they flip a coin. If they want to actually take some early fights or if they want to play it slow. Mostly it's on the latter half. So they try to play it slow as well. But that really doesn't translate into the later stages of the game. When they need to take the fights, they need to clear their surroundings. But none of that happens right now. NoNx, they are the ones who are looking in for a fight. They're searching for something. I can see them somewhere around the school area as well. Maybe that could happen right now, but over towards south, that's where Meta NINZA are. They're going to try and hunt down the solo members. Victorious might be problematic for them to try and survive out there. As out in the open, it's a waste. Instantly captured, deleted, confirmed. Meta NINZA. This is a team who's slowly and steadily climbing back up. And I'm pretty sure that they want most of the finish to go in the hands of Reaper. This one went in for Dragon. It's absolutely fine. Couldn't really make it 4-pointer. Maybe a bit more later they can eventually try and pull stuff like that off, because we are seeing Victorious Sim is still camping the Ferry Pier Bridge, knowing that that's where God's Train like to rotate from. And considering this northern circle, it's going to be the big thing.
Just look at the cluster which is forming around the school and the school apartments. We have got the players of Marcos Gaming and also a few other teams, but for now, seems like Reckoning is also locking horns with the players of TWOB. TWOB is one of those teams which actually love taking the advantage of the power play. But most of the times they tend to lose those fights. But this time the fight is going actually in their favor. It's only one last player remaining from the side of Reckoning. He takes down Phantom. The knock has already come through. Wants to get the confirmation point, but Pukar going for the confirmation onto the knock. Plus of Team Reckoning, it's only Dionysus, the last man standing, the only hope. TWOB, a good start. 3 finishes. So that means 6 points already been racked up at the very start of the game. But Dionysus, he needs to patch himself up first. But there are only bandages. But he has got 4 grenades. That's the main thing.
The main question is, can he pull this off right now? Because the backup is already here. TWOB, they're absolutely ready now. A lot of players standing up. Only just 3 more grenades in their favor, but it doesn't matter. By the time we discuss all about that, Mac just destroys him. 3 finishes for Pukar. That is rather big. Coming in from their side, but that's just not the action where it's ending. It's also happening on the other side as Medal now trying to fight against another team, but NoNx is the first one to be in focus of OG as they have got the bounty. But guess what? The team that has got the bounty are eventually becoming the hunters. NoNx wanted to claim 18 points, but are eventually becoming a granted 8 points for the other side as Aru is way too out in the open. Not really the best possible place because there's a third party coming in as well from Marcos.
And maybe a 4th party could also come in from the side of Revenant X Park, because the cluster is actually forming around the Rozok Hill areas. Even the players of Metal Esports are also falling down. And AKOP was the guy to get the first finish, that too in the power play, and he's also the impact player.
4 points.
My maths is a bit weak, but AKOP is doing so much. But Kalyu gets a perfect knock onto one of the player of Marcos Gaming. Yeah. Let's see if he can get the confirmation. But before he got the confirmation, he's the one to get traded off. And TWB Pukar is also the impact player. So that adds few extra points towards the side of TWOB. But for now, we have got Orangutan going up against.
Oh, Atanki almost trying to pull the second one off as well. But Vizgod a bit too far away. There's no confirmation falling here. So he's got to try and hold it down. Where are the rest of the members? That's the big question. Now the support coming in. Nate being cooked up, but overcooked. Doesn't matter. It's another knock. Kanha standing up. NoNx. They are destroying OG. But a nasty 3-pointer coming in from Aru. Finally gets the confirmation. But NoNx have done the damage. They have made sure to wound the apes. And they've also made sure that no one else can claim in the bounty for their side. So Seoul is the only team whose bounty is left.
If I'm not wrong, Orangutan, they have got 10 points. AQOP is the impact player, and these 4 frags, they came in the power play. You keep doing the maths, but I'm really happy what OG is doing at this point. And considering the circle is also favoring them a lot, also favoring the players of God's Reign actually, as they have got the entire southern control, and everyone is trying to traverse from the northern end. That is where we have the players of Team iQOO also, but they are in such a close proximity to a few of the players of Team Medal.
Wow.
Even the players of TWOB are also nearby.
Yeah.
And what if TWOB and iQOO also lock horns with each other?
Don't know if...
Oh, it's only Scout.
Yeah.
iQOO, they're aware.
They want to still try to take him down. Can Scout stand up? He can definitely ruin the game! As he almost tried, but the support of Legit came in at the very, very right time. 2 finishes for the dude already. And he's been such a good investment as an impact player for the team because he's been doing so much. A lot of heavy lifting being done. And the way Knuckle is enabling his success, and with the way how Goblin and Joker are being that support, I think so. They're making sure that their player is shining the brightest.
Before Sharar, and Legend has got 2 finishes. He's also the impact player. And if you notice, the impact players are going for the frontline assault every single time. Be it the map of Sanhok or the map of Erangel. The impact player has been picked after a lot of thinking, seems like. The team is actually ready. Every single team is actually ready to build the strategies around the impact player.
Maybe they just choose the impact player based on the strategies they want to really go for right now as MyG lost Hermanos. They actually saw that in the replay. I could have hyped that up at that very moment, but I'm going to do that right now. They almost tried to destroy everyone from the side of Middle too, as eventually it was Middle to find some important frags. If only Aimbot was the one to get most of those picks right. Middle still getting at least 4 points out of him because of the power play and the impact player rule. Circle. Oh my goodness gracious, Shadow. Yeah, I know. Talk about it.
It can actually be a Ruins final circle where we have the players of Team Aryan, because very rarely we see the final circle forming on the big Georgiapol Everest. That is where we have the players of True Rippers as well. iQOO also trying to traverse from the northern side. Then we also have got the players of TWOB right on the tails of iQOO. For the cluster, we'll talk about it in a bit. We have got NoNx going up against the players of Team FS, NINZA. Actually, it is. And already short on the numbers, short on the players. And Lavish is also trying to deal with Weird Baba. And actually will finish him off. NINZA has been eliminated on the 11th spot.
And out of that too, in the hands of Lavish. Picture perfect, exactly what you need for FS. This team wants to make sure that the impact player shines. And Lavish is not a white dwarf star, but rather a main sequence one. He's doing a pretty solid job for the team. A bit of a mad dash coming in from NINZA as well, and a bit disconnected, to be honest. I was really hoping them to have a bit more team synergy, but seems like they're struggling a bit on that as of now. And I agree, the circle is absolutely nasty. I really wish it ends up being an Everest circle, because we, as you said, we seldom see that. Right now, Soul and TWOB. This is a fight you predicted a while ago, Shadow. That was somewhere around the north of Rozhok. Not really happening there, but over towards the compounds. Now that one close space, clustered up, and Legit, oh my goodness! He's not stopping right now. Knocks out Pucar as well, catches another one. Can he pull a 1v4 is the question. Are we finished off? The ground is lava, burning the fire, and Legit is not holding it down. He's the one who's absolutely wild. He's gonna take another! Doesn't stop at all. 5 finishes for him. Gets all of them out of the picture. Insane performance from the man. Gets 3 of the players of TWOB. The world of battle sure does. He is going to give you a big one.
TWOB, they started this Erangel by going for the hunt. They got those 8 points in the power play, but seems like they couldn't stand tall in front of Legit, the impact player of iQOO Soul, getting 5 total finishes out of 6 team finishes. So that means 10 points just by Legit of Team iQOO Soul. And also they have the entire Northern control, and the circle is also favoring them a lot. The circle takes a northern shift. The big Georgia Bull Mountain is under the control of the players of True Rippers. Ruins and the nearby areas are under the control of the players of Team Aryan. But look at the cluster of teams which is trying to traverse from the eastern side. We have got the players of God's Reign. Then we also have got the players of Likitha and Orangutan right on the tails of God's Reign.
Still gonna try and maybe find some kind of advantage. This is a weird rotation though from Revenant X Park being pulled though all the way down towards south. That's something that we normally see. I don't know what the plan of action is. Maybe they want to rotate all the way towards the Everest from the southwest and then challenge True Rippers from that direction. It's not going to be an easy battle. It will be an uphill one, metaphorically and literally. But it seems like it's more of a 2-2 split right now. Fierce and Sensei, the ex-teammates, now reuniting, are the ones who are trying to clear the vicinity. And Sensei, no clue why he's going so close to the members of GDR. He's actually got out of the vehicle.
Likitha Esports trying to move in from the southern end of the circle. But God's Reign, they've got eyes onto Aru of Orangutan.
Stunned.
And he's so far away from AKOP. AKOP has not even made it inside the circle. Maybe Aru was there to scout the area, find an angle, find an opportunity where he can grab a good compound under his name.
Yeah, they normally go in with this kind of rotation as well whenever they're lacking the members, where they split up entirely. One player plays at a different part of the map while the rest of the player, they play on the different part. Whenever they're down a member, that's when they pull this off. Now, it doesn't matter how many members they're down with. But for now, Team Aryan are the ones who are making sure that they are not down a member, but rather are up. Henry cooking up another one of Nate. The bounce. It should have been a bit more better, but it's absolutely fine as he drops down like a Chad. Gets all 3 players of medal. That's what you need from your man. It's Devotee though who's the impact player, so no double points coming in. It's only single elimination point for each finish for Henry. But it's absolutely fine considering the position where they were. But this is the main fight. Revenant X Park taking on Likitha Esports. That's going to be the big thing, right? Because this gives AK an opportunity to move into the circle at the very edge. And FS as well, they're trying to scout out that area. So if this fight breaks out, FS will do the third party.
And also, Goblin is also in such a close proximity to Devotee. But for now, we have got Revenant X Park also locking horns with the players of Likitha Esports, where Fierce has got a perfect knock onto Smoker.
Big one.
Who was far away from his teammates. Could be an easy confirmation with that grenade which Race God was trying to bring in. But the blue has also started moving in. This is the moment when the players of RNTX has to make it inside the circle. And Likitha Esports is there aware. They made the noise. They grabbed the attention. And now they are the one paying the price. 2 players down from the moving vehicle. RNTX. This was such a big mistake coming in.
I don't understand the movement that came in there, right? For a second, I thought maybe they wanted to go in for the slam, considering where they were moving, and then they eventually turned 180 degree to run on the other side. That was actually pretty confusing. I know you're the big brain shadow out there, but I'm pretty sure seeing your reaction, even you are confused as to what they wanted to do. Bit of a mistake out there, and it's all thanks to FS firing a few shots on the other end too. But God's Reign, they're going to have so much fun time out there. As True Rippers, they're going to have even better time considering they are on top of the Everest. But it's Team Aryan who just delivered a big blow to Soul. And it's Legit who's out of the mix. He was the spearhead, and now it's going to be Goblin or Joker, one of them picking up the baton. And the fact is, if Aryan finishes off Soul, then they get the bounty. If any other team tries to steal one finish, the bounty is nullified.
Let's see if they can actually get the advantage of the bounty points. But for now, God's Reign, even they are also struggling in the overall ranking. The previous Sanhok also didn't go entirely in their favor. But for now, AKOP, this guy ain't stopping for anyone. He was in such a close proximity to one of the player of Team Aryan. Got the confirmation point, and he's also Impact Plus. So that means 2 points onto the plus of Team Aryan. But eventually, he also got eliminated. But this guy has done so much contribution. But we also have True Rippers going up against the players of Team iQOO Soul. True Rippers, they have the height advantage, but despite that, Joker with the TBS gets the confirmation onto Kyo Lamao as well. And now True Rippers left with only 2 players, as one of the player, Harsh, has been knocked out. There should be a fight going in the favor of iQOO Soul.
Should really be, but again, Jelly can eventually change things up. The nade was a bit of a problem coming in. HP pretty low, and the shots go off Prey, but it's Jelly to connect it all. As True Rippers will get the win against Soul, but no bounty, as it was ruined by Aryan, who themselves are now focusing down on the fight on the southeastern part right here. And God's Reign seem to be in the perfect fray for that third party as Aryan fall. The first one out of the mix. And it's Destro as well, who's trying to answer back, taking the Impact player down on the other side. Now Likitha Esports, NFS, they themselves are locking horns, still trying to survive as the nade parade goes in. Justin wants to try and add a few more in the mix as he's the Impact player for his team. Already having a couple of finishes for himself, and Destro on a perfect rally of support as Likitha gets destroyed by Delta and Justin. Now it's only FS and GDR.
FS versus GDR. GDR with a vehicle. Destro trying to move away from the players and get that height advantage.
Jelly?
Yes, Jelly is also moving in such a close proximity to the players of FS. Jelly could be a 1v3 situation. FS is not even aware about the position of Jelly. He has spotted down the players, but now he needs to reposition because he do realize it's an entire squad right in front of him, and he doesn't want to risk anything. This can actually be a chicken dinner game for the players of True Rippers. They don't want to make any mistake, but God's Reign Neo gets a confirmation onto GodX. And now FS left with only 2 players remaining. God's Reign is not even aware about Jelly. He can be that X factor which actually lands a chicken dinner for the players of True Rippers.
It's going to be the massive thing coming in. God's Reign will also have to give the revival up to Justin right now because he is the Impact player down on the knees. That's why they send Neo to do the exact same job as FS. They understand that they're going to make a mad dash against the members of God's Reign as Levi. He needs to try and win that fight as Delta holds his ground down with the support of Destro. They destroy both of them. And this is the best chance for True Rippers to try and hunt them down. But they are not really pushing forward. They're still holding their space. God's Reign. They've got full control of the southeastern side. While True Rippers, they've got full control of every other space. But look at Hydro.
Whoa.
Look at that flank.
God's Reign, they need to read that flank. They need to read about Jelly. Too much information which the players of God's Reign need at this point. But here's the thing, True Rippers, all the 3 players are on 3 different parts of the map.
Yeah.
If any of them gets taken down, gets a knock, revival is going to be so much difficult. But for God's Reign, since they are in a 2v2 split and now they're aware about the position of Harsh, that he has got the big mountain control. Jelly still being cheeky, still trying to do something, pass all the information to his teammates, but God's Reign,
he's so open. If Justin spots him, he's going to be taken down from 3 different directions with no cover fire being given. But Justin himself, my man is traversing the grounds that are forbidden. As he moves all the way back to the safety as well. Hydro, his position noted. Harsh, Hydro, both of them now spotted out. The nade parade needs to find a value. Justin and Neo, they both decide. Destro as well going in from the same place. So Jelly has got the perfect time to now take care of Delta first and then be the person to provide support from the other side though. But a low HP hybrid has to move back. Can't really hold that space. And that nade from Justin finds the big knock. He's able to answer one quickly as God's Rain eventually push against them. They should have an idea of how the players are low. Jelly's position noted as well. And now he's got to pick up his own Formula 1 to run back as both the players on top of the hill fall. It's God's Rain pulling the trigger and getting the answer. Jelly in a 1v4 and maybe a miraculous clutch can save him. But will that happen is the question as the carousel comes in and Jelly falls down. It's God's Rain to reign supreme on Erangel.
Definitely a much needed chicken dinner for the players of OnePlus God's Rain. And Justin, the impact player, has got 5 finishers or maybe more. So that means 10 points just by single ad and extra finish points and the position points of this chicken dinner. So many points being accumulated by God's Rain in a single match. They took advantage of the impact player and definitely a good game conversion. And this was not a circle where they were getting any sort of advantage. It was a completely northern circle and they loved going all the way towards the side of military base. They had to go for the rotation. They had to cross those clusters. They kept the numbers alive. Everything just went in their favor.
Challenged at every single front, but answered like absolute victors. They are the kings who always reign, who always stand. And you know what? It's about time to ask the questions from those kings. So let's send it to Serene.
भाई की टीम जीत रही है. डेस्ट्रो, लिसन, मतलब 4 मैचेस एंड हम हर बार इंटरव्यू करते हैं उस टीम के साथ जो जीतती है. आई रियली वांट टू अंडरस्टैंड दिन का आखिरी मैच. आप आते हैं, योर एनर्जी जैप. 3 मैचेस में शायद वैसी वो परफॉर्मेंस नहीं देखने को मिली है जो टोटल आप मैचेस खेलते हैं. आखिरी मैच में हाउ डू यू सेव द बेस्ट फॉर लास्ट?
मतलब ऑनेस्टली ट्राई यही रहता है जिसमें हमें चीज़ें फेवर कर रही हैं उसको हम थ्रो नहीं करें कहीं से भी. एंड ये मैच में हमें जोन मिला, फेवर मिला, बिकॉज हम इनिशियली फाइट्स में हम ट्राई किए जाने का बट जा नहीं पाए. तो फिर दिमाग में यही था कि चिकन कन्वर्ट करते हैं, अच्छी सी नींद आएगी फिर रात में.
डेस्ट्रो, हमेशा वैसे मुस्कुराते रहते हो लेकिन जब मैं तुम्हारी टीम की तरफ देखता हूँ, एक से बढ़कर एक खिलाड़ी है तुम्हारे पास. यार डिसाइड कैसे करते हो कि इम्पैक्ट प्लेयर कौन बनेगा? रात को खाने के वक्त चिट्स बनाते हो या क्या डिस्कशन होती है? हाउ डू यू डिसाइड?
नहीं क्लियर है हमारा. फर्स्ट वीक का ये है, सेकंड का डेल्टा बनेगा, थर्ड का नियो बनेगा. ईजियर फॉर मी, सबको चांस मिलेगा.
जस्टिन, ये जो सीरीज है इसमें जरूरी ये नहीं कितना ऊंचा जाओ, जरूरी है कितना लंबा जाओ. राइट? यू हैव टू बी कंसिस्टेंट मैच आफ्टर मैच आफ्टर मैच. कुछ ना कुछ करके स्लो एंड स्टेडी विंस द रेस. तुम लोग ऊपर स्टैंडिंग्स में आ ही जाते हो.
आई मीन हम एक साथ ही खेलते हैं चारों. मतलब ऐसा नहीं है कि इनिशियली मैचेस खराब जाए तो हम डीमोटिवेट वगैरह होते हैं. हम चिल रहते हैं और फिर वही हमको कम बैक करने में हेल्प करता है.
भाई तुम्हारी टीम के टोटको वगैरह पे विश्वास रखती है, लाइक सुपरस्टिशन? क्योंकि डेस्ट्रो से हमने कहा था कि यार दिन के पहले हम लोग इंटरव्यू करेंगे. डेस्ट्रो साफ मना कर देता है कि मैच के पहले मैं इंटरव्यू नहीं दूंगा. ऐसे सुपरस्टिशंस तुम लोगों के साथ होटल में जब चिल कर रहे हो तो वैसे भी फॉलो करता है?
हाँ, मतलब करते ही हैं. मतलब इतना कुछ नहीं दिमाग में, बट चलता है कभी कभी ऐसा.
डेस्ट्रो, बट व्हाई इंटरव्यू देने के लिए क्यों मना करते हो जीतने के पहले?
नहीं ऐसा मैंने नोटिस किया. जब मैंने इंटरव्यू दिया है वो मैचेस से पहले, तो वो दिन कभी अच्छा नहीं गया है, तो मैंने मना कर दिया था, रॉबिन को भेज दिया था. देखो चिकन आ गया फिर.
भाई इंटरव्यू मैच के पहले तो नहीं मिलने वाला. चिकन मिलेगा तो ही डेस्ट्रो मिलेगा. ऑलराइट, टेकिंग अ ब्रेक, विल बी बैक.
R is for RAM on roids. A 12 gigabyte ramped up, run on all engines, upgraded in a world resigned to 8 gig. Ridiculously ripped. Raise the stakes with a ruthless dozen. Ready to raid. Write faster, roll smoother. Reach higher with a refuse to die battery. Every app, every activity. Rep, 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 rep. If it's in your radius, R keeps it on rotation. OnePlus 13R. R is ours.
Bro, we're about to drop.
Just a second. I need to finish this video.
Ask Gemini on Android, it will give highlights.
Press for key highlights.
Only on Android.
TVS Raider, the wicked ride.
Real MVPs are not born, they practice every day. For OP moves on the field and in life.
Duolingo English Test. Proud supporters of dreamers and doers.
Red Bull gives you wings.
beginning हमेशा नहीं था स्टार यूसी लेने से पहले सोचता था 100 बार डर था बड़ा स्कैम्स का डाउट थे हजार तो प्ले ओपी आया तो लगा ही नहीं पर तो मैंने लिया यूसी सेव गेम किया रेस प्ले मेरे साथ यहाँ ड्रॉप्स एकदम हार्ड प्ले तेरे साथ ओपी तू भी कर ले स्टार्ट
After that impactful performance, I'm pretty sure God's Reign have made a pretty solidly back up in the leaderboard, ladies and gentlemen, as we're back again after that final game of the evening. But there's quite a lot of things to discuss about that game, Shadow. I know there's a lot that even you want to talk about. But first, we're going to give a huge call out, or rather, shout out to Bisleri. We're going to make sure that you drink all that water up, keep yourself hydrated, because this is a long event, a long tournament. But, I mean, Shadow, if you think about it, we've already reached day number 5.
Yes.
And we're seeing so much action.
Yes, we are. We are actually witnessing teams breaking each other's records. Mad Kings. Yesterday, it was a complete Mad Kings show. Then today, it was entirely different. Everyone's going for those extra points, especially OG with the impact player performance coming in. It was such a dominating performance coming in, but this time it was entirely legit show. The MVP with 5 finishes and 71% finish contribution, especially the way legit went against the players of TWOB. In that particular fight, that guy was so precise with a DBS. He was able to take down one of the players of TWOB who was actually in the compound.
True.
Let's have a look at the stars of the match. It is actually Mac from TWOB is the best companion.
And eventually, the finisher going in the hands of Delta as well, because he was able to find out that last frag onto the members of True Rippers. But here we go, ladies and gentlemen. It's one of the big things coming in, but I still kind of want to talk about the fact as to how God's Reign, yes, getting that 20-point chicken dinner probably, we'll be seeing that soon. Getting that 20-point chicken dinner isn't really giving them a very big bounce at the leaderboard. We're going to see the highlights as well of the previous game with how it went through. It was a pretty chaotic start, but overall it fizzled down in the middle. But then, again, we saw a lot of fights coming in.
At least it's a step in the right direction. That's what I'm going to say.
Yeah.
Metal Esports, yes, we do expect much bigger things from their side. Even the players of Likitha Esports, they had the entire southern control, but that control was taken away by the players of God's Reign.
That was the best thing that they could have done, right? Clearing out their surroundings, finishing off the teams down below them, and then moving out forward. A 26-pointer, to be honest, now, because Justin was able to get a lot of finishes in that game, and eventually he's the impact player for the team as well. The rest of the team, yeah, this time we're not seeing as big performances, but a lot of points being divided between a lot of teams, right? 14, 14, 14 for middle, TWOB, Soul, OG 13 as well, and then 11s, then 10s. That's something we did not usually see previously. It's all thanks to the impact player and the power play that these teams can rack up so many points.
But Revenant X-Park failed to do so, only a single point to their name. Even the players of Reckoning Esports having 0 points. Marcos Gaming, they also fell short in the performance in this particular one. 0 points to their name. They had to face an early exit, by the way. VS, we were talking about VS, at how impressive they were in the map of Sanhok, but once again, a shabby performance from their side.
But here's the big thing, right? No shabbiness coming in at this point. Orangutan, Soul, God's Reign, and Global Esports being in the top 4 after those bounties and 169 points. A 29-point big lead coming in from OG, just one away from their 100 finishes. But I'm pretty sure Swiggy would be happy after seeing those 99 finishes for their side. Overall, not the best day for Godlike being dropped down. But I'd still say a pretty decent day for Victoris Sumus, considering they're up on 11th spot.
Battle Esports also on the 12th spot with 97 points. Marcos Gaming on the 13th with 96 points. And in fact, Marcos Gaming has got 2 chicken dinners. Despite that, they are on the second page of the leaderboard. Phoenix Esports, 4TR, TWOB. Here's the thing. All the bottom teams, I think TWOB is the only one who is not shying away from the fights.
It just seems like, you know, I wouldn't exactly say they're kind of shying away from the fight. It's more so the fact that they're not picking the right fights. There are quite a few times when I've noticed them, they want to pick the fight, right? We've seen them rotating towards the spots where they realize teams are. Yeah. But I just feel like it's not really a full-fledged solid decision of, yes, we're fully going to commit on to this fight. I think so they kind of struggle there a little bit. But there's some people who are absolutely not struggling, and those are the most wicked players. The TVS Raider most wicked player list, AKOP again leading the charts with 34, stealing it away from Admino. And I think so, yeah, those 2 games are eventually going to hurt Godlike a lot.
And Spray God has also got 25 finishes with 12 matches and 35% finish contribution. And on the second page, we have got Justin of God's Reign with 24 finishes, Beast with 23 finishes, 42% finish contribution, but Atanki, 22 finishes and 22% finish contribution. The reason is that the finishes are distributed equally among the team.
Absolutely. All of them just on top. These are the shining stars for their team, but there's a shining star out there on the arena as well, ladies and gentlemen, and it's a huge shout out to the TVS, who's the mobility partner of the BGMS Season 4, because that's a wicked upgrade as TVS Radar AGO brings segment's first GTT digital cluster with 85 plus connected features. Man, oh man, you would not want to miss out on that bike. Even Necro is head over heels for that, but I'm head over heels for a lot of other things, and that's the performance of the teams who are now finally feeling themselves.
And you were mentioning about TWOB not picking up the right fights. 51 finish points. I think they are picking up the right fights. It's just a survival which is a bit of the problem. They always get those points in the power play, and after that the rotation becomes a problem. Because if you notice on the map of Erangel, iQOO became a problem because of the rotation.
I think so. That could be the big reason out there. I'm pretty sure that one of the main reasons why they're facing those rotation problems is probably because they're hungry. And if you're hungry, all you need to do is just scan the QR code of Swiggy, because you get the burgers at just ₹99 without delivery charges. Free delivery, ladies and gentlemen. You absolutely want to be happy about that as we have a look at the Swiggy 99 finishes. We've had a total number of 1194 finishes in a span of 20 games. And out of that, 12 times we've reached the mark of 99 finishes. Shadow, please order that burger.
For myself, I do that every day. I'm also hungry for the burgers.
I'm just going to move forward to the Red Bull Max finishes out here as well, because it's AKOP on top. 34 finish points for this dude, like 34 finishes. And if we are talking about finish points, yeah, that's a lot of maths happening out there. Is going to be the man with the blue cap on top. Let's send it down all the way for the interview. But before we send that down forward, Shadow, is there any question that you want to ask him?
Not particularly any. I'll leave it to Surain.
You know what? I'm going to send one question down to Surain as well so that he can ask that with AKOP.
The Red Bull Max takedown cap jata hai to the prince, the Shehzada, AKOP of Orangutan. लेकिन भाई सुप्रीम कॉन्फिडेंस किसे कहते हैं, उसका सबूत मैं यहाँ प्रेजेंट करना चाहता हूँ. बताओ सबको.
आप लोग इंटरव्यू लेते नहीं हो चिकन डिनर लेने के बाद, इसलिए एमवी बनना पड़ रहा है कि कोई इंटरव्यू ले ले आके. और मुझे पता था कि मतलब मैच खेलने से पहले मैं डिसाइड करके आया था कि आज यहाँ पे आने वाला हूँ मैं ऑलरेडी. तो मैंने इसलिए इतना सब तांझाम करना पड़ा.
Just to put into perspective, ओरंगुटान के टोटल 114 फिनिश पॉइंट्स हैं, जिसमें 34%, 34% कंट्रीब्यूशन अकेले सिंगल हैंडेडली एक ओपी का. पहन ले भाई टोपी अब. और मुझे ये बता, जब 34% अकेले तू ही कंट्रीब्यूट कर रहा है, जिसकी वजह से टीम की स्टैंडिंग भी इतनी अच्छी होती है, वो बैलेंस कैसे मेंटेन करता है? बिकॉज इफ यू हैव अ बैड गेम, वो टीम की स्टैंडिंग को भी इफेक्ट करेगा.
मतलब ऐसा कुछ नहीं है कि मैं अगर अर्ली फिनिश हो जाता तो मेरी टीम को प्रॉब्लम होती है. मुझे भी इतना पता है, मुझे इतना कॉन्फिडेंस है मेरी टीम पे कि अगर मैं अर्ली एलिमिनेट भी हो जाता हूँ तो मेरी टीम लास्ट में जाके चिकन या फिर अच्छे खासे पॉइंट मिनिमम पॉइंट निकाल लेंगे, जिससे हमको इफेक्ट नहीं करने वाला ओवरऑल में. प्लस मैं जिंदा हूँ तो
मैं जिंदा हूँ तो बाकी सब खत्म है. ऑल्सो इफ यू आर दिस गुड, 1/3 ऑफ द कॉन्ट्रीब्यूशन इज कमिंग फ्रॉम यू, करेक्ट? 1/3. आपकी टीम का सपोर्ट और स्ट्रैटेजी कितनी जरूरी हो जाती है उसमें?
मतलब मेरा ओवरऑल इतना अच्छा परफॉर्म करना, वो कहीं ना कहीं शो करता है कि मेरी टीम मुझे कितना अच्छा बैक कर रही है. अगर मैं सोलो खेलूंगा और मतलब मेरी टीम जब मुझे सपोर्ट नहीं करेंगे तो ऑब्वियसली मैं कहीं ना कहीं अर्ली फिनिश हो जाऊंगा. तो अपनी टीम पे ट्रस्ट करता हूँ और फिर यहाँ पे आके खड़े होकर बात करता हूँ.
भाई 5वां दिन आज खत्म हो रहा है और 5 दिन में आई थिंक मोर और लेस एवरी डे यू हैव बीन एट द नंबर 1 स्पॉट. बिना चिकन डिनर के शाकाहारी हो, क्या है, चिकन पसंद नहीं है, व्हाट इज इट?
श्रावण चल रहे थे ना इसलिए.
Listen, congratulations. Always a pleasure talking to you about the best AQOP of Orangutan. इसी के साथ फ्राइडे का दिन खत्म होता है यहाँ BGMS सीजन 4 में. It's going to be mayhem as we get to Saturday, the weekend. मिलेंगे आपसे कल शाम को 5 बजे. Until then, bye bye.